Welcome into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios. Darian Newsom producing for us. We're Sports Time. We're with you for the next 3 hours on this Monday afternoon. Plenty to get into, a busy week of sports, all the football action, a little baseball, basketball right around the corner. So a ton to get into over these next 3 hours. But Brett, how are you this afternoon?
Brian, I'm doing great. Long time till Game 1 of the World Series begins, but It will start this week, the latter part of this week.
Yes, it will. Friday night, Game 1. So, yes, it will be a long build-up, but, I think it will be a fun build-up when you have these two teams going at it, Dodgers and Yankees. And so, maybe I wish it was earlier, but hey, I guess beggars can't be choosers.
I can understand it. They love these fixed dates and very easily could get into November baseball. And I think by Friday everybody will know it'll be Aaron Judge versus Shohei Ohtani.
Of course, it absolutely will be. And so there's definitely storylines to build up with this matchup in this series. And so I think it'll be fine waiting that long. But I do wish we got it a little sooner.
12th time for these two to meet in the World Series. That's tied for the most in any of the Big Four with Lakers and Celtics.
Wow, that's I didn't know that. That's incredible.
That's not my big number of the day.
Okay, well, it's a good number.
That was just my little number to start out at 3 o'clock.
A little number to start the show. How about that?
Well, kind of little number of the day.
I love that. A little number and a big number later to come. Brett, I'm curious because on Friday you told us that you were not going anywhere this weekend. You were just going to stay at your house and watch a lot of football. So I got to know, how did that go on Saturday?
I don't want to get used to it, but I could.
I mean, it's nice.
But I don't want to get used to it. No, it was a good respite. I really enjoyed it. Almost went out to high school football Friday night, but I didn't. I stayed true to staying at home. Even got a good opportunity Saturday to go to Mississippi State and A&M.
Oh wow!
But I decided not to, and enjoyed watching all the games and everything that went with it, and really enjoyed it. And it was a day full of action.
Yeah.
I don't know that we had. I know we didn't have the upset Saturday that we had 2 weeks ago. We haven't had that in 2 weeks. But the games all day, the tone that it sets, really starting at 11 all the way through to bedtime, it's like a movie every single Saturday with this first year of the unknown of what it's going to take to get in the playoffs and the various teams. Kirk Herbstreit said Saturday on College Game Day, I'm going to take him at his word. I think he's one of the preeminent voices, and I don't think he was saying it far hype, that he thought there was as many as 30 teams that could legitimately think about being in that 12-team bracket. That's a lot of teams.
A lot of teams. That's a ton of teams. But, hey, I think that just shows where college football is right now. And I think, you look at the AP poll this morning or yesterday when it came out, and Oregon's number one. I saw this nugget this morning. They're the fourth team to be number one this year. That's the most since 2014. So, I mean, it's just been rotating all year long.
And we may have another number one soon. Penn State could jump in there.
They absolutely could. And so it's been a great year. I don't think you can ask anybody that has been watching college football this year, hey, what do you think about what this year has been? And anybody would say anything other than it's just been great.
Penn State could be a placeholder at number one before the year's over. Sure. Miami could be as well.
Yeah, no, they could, and Miami got the win against Louisville, a wild game, especially that second half, just all the points that were being scored by both teams. But that was a fun one. But, hey, Miami for another week stays alive and continue to be undefeated.
But it was a fun Saturday. How was yours? Did you go to the Tiger game?
No, I was planning on it, but Melinda was a little under the weather this weekend, so I went and took care of her Saturday night instead of going to the game. But I missed one that would have taken years off of my life if I was there. It took years off of my life just watching it, but I'm sure
a classic, wasn't it?
It was something. Usually I think classic is in goods. I guess they won, but it was terrifying throughout the game.
No, you're not going to be that. You're not going to be like that, are you?
I mean, I'm not not being anything. I'm just that game was terrifying, and took
but
years
if you
off
win,
mine.
it's a classic, wasn't it?
I guess so. Yeah, I guess so. It's terrifying.
Oh wow!
It was terrifying.
I'm afraid you're not alone in that. It's never enough. The Tigers win 21-3
Sure.
last week in a crazy week when you didn't know where you're going, who you're playing, what
Right.
time it's going to be. That wasn't enough now to win in that style, and I'm sensing that wasn't enough. It's the opponents. They're not changing.
Sure. And I'm not saying it wasn't enough, but I was having to sit around and catch my breath after that one. It ended up being for the good, but
it was a win.
I was terrified all the way to the final buzzer. That's for sure.
But this is the season of being terrified.
That's true. That's a really good point. And so yeah, Tigers get a win, and offense certainly looked good. Defense, not so much, and gave up a ton of points to a North Texas team that we knew would come in and try to put a lot of points up, and they certainly did. And their receiver, that I don't even know how many yards he finished with, but it was 2 drives, 2 plays, and 150 yards of total offense, 1 on the ground, 1 through the air. It was a wild one for sure.
Chandler Morris would be an effective quarterback for a lot of people, but I think his height probably eliminates him from being that desirable. But then his how effective he is makes him very desirable.
Sure, and he was. Some of those throws, especially late in the game, to keep North Texas alive. Great throws, great catches by his receivers, and a couple of those along the sidelines. Just
I bet
where he placed
Oklahoma
the
could
ball.
use him.
Well, Oklahoma could use a lot of quarterbacks out there.
I bet
Oklahoma
Auburn could use him.
Same boat for both those teams. Yikes! Both those teams really struggling right now.
Yeah. And Oklahoma, 21-point underdog to Ole Miss for this weekend.
Is that right?
Can you believe that?
I can't. I didn't know that coming into the show. That is.
I'm gonna quote
shocking.
Vern in your life.
That is incredible. And they made a change at offensive coordinator yesterday, and Seth Luttrell, who was the offensive coordinator, he's now out after just the offense has not been able to do anything all year.
They're changing a lot for Oklahoma. That Saturday, 11 o'clock in Oxford, and I said in the preseason, I had OU 7-5 in the preseason, and I thought that was in the gray area of maybe not being enough for them.
Ooh.
And I know anything less than that. Historically, what Oklahoma's always done is it's the Jack Nicklaus rule. Once you get in trouble, start getting out of trouble.
Yep.
And they don't stay married to Gary Gibbs or Howard Schnellenberger or John Blake for long.
That's right.
A lot of those names would come as unfamiliar names to a lot of college football diehards. There's a reason Oklahoma pulled the plug on them all very quickly. When they get in trouble, they get out of trouble. And then the deal back in May that they signed with Brent Venables when there wasn't a single program out there going, you know what we're going to do? We're going to let this year go along, and we get to Thanksgiving weekend, and the merry-go-round begins, and the coaching carousel starts. The perfect person for our program is Brent Venables.
That's right. Yeah.
There wasn't one person saying that.
No.
And OU goes out and signs him to a deal that they can't get out of. All at $200 a barrel, they can't.
No.
Pump price $7 a gallon, they can't get out of it.
No, we were saying that when it happened. I remember, I think that same day that announcement happened, we had David Cobb on the show, and we were our first question, David, what is Oklahoma doing? Why are they doing this? And David had no idea.
Who are they
Everybody
bidding
was shocked.
against?
Nobody. It just made no sense then, and it certainly doesn't make any sense
now. Oklahoma
now.
can do that,
Sure.
and if they had to, but that's one that if they have to do that, AD's got to go for signing that deal, doesn't he?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
That's just that's crazy, and I think Arkansas is a little bit in that position right now. I know they want Sam Pittman to work out. Let's say over the next 2 weeks, Arkansas goes to Starkville and beats Mississippi State, and then they beat Ole Miss at home. In a lot of years, that would be the time to tear up and redo, wouldn't it?
Sure. Yeah.
I think Hunter Yurchek ought to say, you have a signed, legally binding contract, and we're going to play it out.
I like it. Yeah. I wouldn't be mad if they did that.
Because nobody's out there going, yeah.
No.
December 1st, what we got to do is hire Sam Pittman at USC.
No.
At wherever.
No, nowhere.
Nobody.
Nowhere. Nobody's doing that. But we got a lot of college football to talk about, and we're going to talk about it a ton throughout the show. But there is another story I wanted to get to before we got to top and not top story of the day. And it is the story that came out last night, and we're still learning more things about it and trying to figure out exactly what's happening with Memphis forward Tyreek Smith. Last night, a tweet came out by Hitman Hoops, who has broken a lot of, especially Tiger basketball news over the last year or two. This was the tweet: breaking, Memphis forward Tyreek Smith has informed head coach Penny Hardaway of his decision to step away from the team per multiple sources. Smith was competing for the starting power forward role this season, but he plans to look for an opportunity elsewhere. Later in the evening last night, both Jason Munns and Parth both tweeted out that from their understanding, Tyreek Smith had asked for a day or two away from the team, but that he had not informed Hardaway or the Tigers that he intends to leave the program permanently. So it was kind of a, well, is he just gone for a couple days? Is he gone for good? What's going on with this? And now today, and I still don't really understand if this is his agent or who this is. Mentor is what I've heard him referred to a lot, but someone with a Twitter handle, and I'm looking at Jason Munns because I know Jason Munns had his name, has been tweeting a lot today about this situation and what's going on. This man, Knight is his last name, is basically saying it's a money thing, that he has not gotten the NIL money that, according he is promised. Boog Knight is the fellow that's been all over Twitter today, that this is coming down to NIL and that the two sides are trying to work to figure this out, but that I guess Tyreek has not received his NIL money that he was promised or that he thought he was supposed to be getting, and right now at least is away from the team.
Yeah, I don't know all the particulars in the back and forth, but I would say this is probably not ever good to bust out into the public domain, but I would rather be sorting this out now than after the first of the year or at any point the season beginning. Yeah. For Tyreek Smith, did he play very much and very effectively last week against North Carolina?
Yeah, he was good. He came off the bench. I don't remember exactly how many minutes he played, but got good minutes, and I thought was good. I don't remember him being crazy in terms of scoring, but what he did defensively, down low, getting rebounds, stuff like that.
Did he start?
No, he did not. He came off the bench.
Would you describe him as a key component for this year's success or lack thereof?
I would like to have him as a depth piece. I don't think he's a starter, but I would like to have him off the bench.
All right, now he averaged 8 points last year at SMU. Am I correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
So, look, if they have a enforceable contract, or I don't know how all these NIL deals are done. I don't know if it's contract. I don't know if it's back of a napkin, back of a business card, a handshake.
Right.
I would imagine a lot of the NIL dealing was Rick Stansberry.
Sure, yeah. I think that's probably pretty accurate.
And some of the back and forth, and I don't know all the particulars, it talks, there's been allegation of the person that we made a deal with is no longer there. Well, that could be a couple of different people, but I would think I would guess it would be Rick Stansberry. I don't know that, but I would guess that it would be. So we're going to all this and having all this played out in public, and Coach Hardaway hasn't said a word yet, has he? Publicly?
Not publicly, no.
And I don't blame him. I wouldn't either. I would try to keep it contained. But we're going to all this trouble, not over Larry Keenan,
right?
Not over Tyreek Evans,
right?
But over a guy that averaged 8 points last year.
Yes. No, you're right. And I just pulled up the box score from North Carolina. 8 points. He was 3 for 4 from the field, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals in 15 minutes of action. So
yeah, I just don't know how key he is. But I also wonder this: with his public protest of I hadn't got my money, I wonder if he's alone. I wonder if there's others that are saying, hey, where's mine? Sure. And if they come up with money to pay him, and there's others that are saying that, then they're going to say, I want mine too.
Well, and that's exactly what's going to happen. And so that's, I think, the biggest thing. I would say the only reason I would say he's more of a need and you would like to get this resolved is because of the lack of depth in the front court. I mean,
and 6'8" matters.
Sure, and you just need guys. And so, this team is very much guard heavy, and there's not a ton of depth in that front court. So I would love for them to get this resolved because I think he can give you something off the bench. But again, if this is going to be a big thing about NIL money and this and that for a guy that is going to be a rotation player, I think it might be a little too much.
Is this seventh, eighth man?
Yeah, he's probably seventh or eighth man, maybe right around there, I would say.
But out there in the NIL world, if you are whether it's Memphis basketball or Notre Dame football, whoever it may be, if you have the reputation of we agree to one deal and we don't get it, then it won't last. I mean, it will get known far and wide.
Oh, absolutely.
And then when those players that are feel like they're either they've been jilted or they're going to get jilted, then they're going to be looking for the door too.
For sure.
And Memphis can't be alone in football and basketball with this. No. I would imagine this dynamic is occurring at a lot of places, and I think some of them, college football wise, would shock you.
Sure. Oh, I completely agree. I think this is going on. I would say situations like this are happening at more places than less places. I mean, I think there are
It may not shock people. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean.
All right, this story, Tyreek Smith, big deal, no big deal?
I feel like they're going to get it resolved, so I think not big deal right now. But it could evolve into larger deal. I don't want to say big deal, but
get resolved and probably regret this 24 hours.
Yeah, probably. I think Jason Munns tweeted out earlier that I think both sides were meeting this afternoon or at some point today.
Just tell me this. There's no reference to him being ill, is it?
Not yet. That's been the joke that's gone around is that
has it been?
Oh, yeah, that this is eerily similar to what happened last year and that just wait until he's labeled sick.
And in the end, that's what Jordan Brown alleged. Exactly. He got stiffed.
Exactly, 100%. So you will see what happens. I did not think last night when the first tweets came out about this story that it would have evolved to what it has evolved to now and that it would be this ongoing where we still have questions. But here we are, and I don't know when we'll get a final answer, but it does sound like both sides are trying to get this resolved within, fairly recently, or fairly soon, I should say. But let me go ahead and set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. At 3:30, Jonah Dillon, the Tiger football beat writer for the Commercial Appeal. He'll join us. We'll talk about Saturday's win over North Texas, this weekend's game against Charlotte, a lot of Tiger football in the next segment with Jonah Dillon. 3:45, we'll talk some baseball as we have the World Series officially set, Dodgers and Yankees. We'll talk about how these two teams got there and what we expect is it's going to be a long buildup to Friday for Game 1. 4 o'clock, David Cobb from CBS Sports will join us, talk college football with him and some college basketball. We'll get his thoughts on what this situation is for Tyreek Smith and for the Memphis Tigers, talk some other college football with all the big games over the weekend and a little bit of college basketball. 4:30, our Sissy's Log Cabin look back at the weekend in the SEC. Some really fun games in the SEC, some interesting storylines as well, so we'll get to all of that at 4:30. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, DeMichael Cole from the Commercial Appeal. He's on the Grizzlies beat. He joins us as opening day, Wednesday night, only a couple days away. DeMichael, a regular with us during the Grizzlies season. We'll talk about what he saw in preseason, what to expect as the year starts. The news did come down earlier today. Jaren Jackson Jr. will miss the opening game with that injury. It sounds like this is more precautionary. Let him get back to 100% before he comes back rather than maybe an extended injury. But we'll get DeMichael Cole's thoughts on that as well at 5 o'clock. 5:30, our Monday Night Football pick and preview. 2 games tonight in the NFL. Ravens at Bucks. We'll have that game tonight right here on Sports 56. But also Chargers and Cardinals tonight a little bit after that first one starts, about an hour after that first game starts. That game, an ESPN Plus only game, but we'll take a look at both of these games and talk about the best four. We'll list our best four players to ever wear the uniforms for those four teams combined. So it could be 3 Ravens, a Buck. It could be a Raven, a Buck, a Charger,
not
a
16 players.
No,
just the big four.
4. And but
three of the 4 on my list are my top 10 all time in the history of the sport.
Okay, all right. So yeah, this is a lot of teams to just get it down to a list of 4. So it should be fun to see where we all have these lists and what they look like. We'll do that at 5:30, and then at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. It's the world's biggest spa sale going on now at Family Leisure. Save thousands on in-stock hot tubs ready for delivery. Spas starting at $28.99. Cold plunges at $39.99. Swim spas at $17,499. Special financing is available, and don't forget about the huge discounts on all in-stock above-ground pools, and all patio furniture is priced to move. So head out to Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40.
He's Bryant. I'm Brett. Our producer is Darian Newsom, and we are Sportstime, and we're with you until 6 o'clock. We want you to be a big part of our show by texting or calling at 901-360-8255. That's the Sissy's Log Cabin text and talk line. All our guests will appear on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line at 901-360-8255. We're always in our Family Leisure Studios, and this hour always brought to you by our title sponsor, that's Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all the remaining 2024s, 2025s, starting to take over. Always special leasing options at Lexus of Memphis. Driving luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Call them at 901-334-9673, but they invite you and they want you to stop by the one and only Lexus dealership in town at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2025 flagship LS500. You'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day has got to be this weekend of college football. A really, really fun Saturday full of games from start to finish. A lot of fun. I mean, we started the day with that Miami-Louisville game where, started off, it looked like Miami could run away with it, but then late in the second quarter and then the second half, Louisville just stayed around. 52-45, the final score of that game. Had a little bit of everything. High-scoring second half. We had a kickoff return for a touchdown. Both offenses looked really good. It was a really, really fun game. You look at some of the other big games. Georgia with a 30-15 win over number 1 ranked Texas. Tennessee winning at home as an underdog over Alabama 24-17 in that one. LSU continues to win with a 34-10 win over Arkansas on the road in Fayetteville. The Tigers win in a wild game, a score fest at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. You had Brady Cook leave the stadium and go to the hospital to get his ankle checked out before returning to the game in the fourth quarter and leading Missouri to a win over Auburn. And then you look at the AP Top 25 poll. You see Oregon at number 1. I mentioned already, the 4th team this year to be number 1, which is the most since 2014. But then you look at the bottom of that AP poll, and it just makes me smile. Who would have thought? Number 22, SMU. Number 23, Army. Number 24, Navy. And number 25, anchor down, Vanderbilt makes the AP Top 25.
And game day had to decide between where they're going at Indiana, first time ever, Indiana hosting Washington, or going to Nashville. They've been to Vanderbilt before, but going for Vanderbilt against Texas. That's what it came down to.
Big miss on their part, if I do say so myself.
I think so too. I mean, how many more cracks you gonna get at Vandy? My top story: college football. 13 million viewers for Georgia and Texas, peaked at 14.1. Almost 11 million for Bama and Tennessee peaked at about 14.7. That's a lot of eyeballs on one network on a Saturday. In Tennessee, they win their second straight versus Bama at Neyland Stadium. The last time Bama won at Neyland Stadium with a crowd in the stands was 2018.
It's crazy.
2020, COVID, nobody was there.
Right.
22 lost, 24 lost. In back-to-back weeks, Tennessee vanquished both Florida and Bama. Good times for the Big Orange. Firmly in playoff contention, and Nico can and will get a lot better. They did that this weekend with him only going 14 of 27 for under 200 yards and 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 44 yards rushing. But he played okay and rode that run game and that defense and forced Bama to punt 7 times.
Crazy.
Punt, Bama, punt
Crazy.
7 times.
That was a fun game. It was a really fun game. And then seeing all the pictures and videos from my buddies that were on the field after that one. And then the security trying to keep the goalpost in the stadium. Wild night in Knoxville.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day, it's what we just got done talking about, and that is this Tyreek Smith situation with Memphis basketball. So last night, we already mentioned it, Hitman Hoops puts out a tweet that Tyreek Smith has left the program and he's going to look for other opportunities elsewhere. Well, then shortly after, Jason Munns tweeted this, saying the statement from Memphis Athletics regarding Tyreek Smith's standing with the program, quote, Tyreek did ask Coach Hardaway if he could step away for a day for personal reasons, but he has not informed Penny or the program that he intends to leave. End of quote. Then we learned earlier today, Jason Munns posted again earlier this morning that he spoke with Tyreek Smith's mother, who said she spoke to Tyreek about 30 minutes ago at this point. This was about 11 o'clock this morning, and that he did not tell her anything about leaving. And now we have his Tyreek Smith's mentor, Boog Knight, who has been tweeting all day long about what is going on behind the scenes, how this is a money situation, how he was promised money 4 months ago and that he has not gotten any money. And now the most recent tweet from Boog Knight says that he just got off the phone with Penny Hardaway and that they're working on some. Here's the tweet. I just hung up with Penny Hardaway. He's working on some stuff. I want the supporters to step up and help him. He has a really good team that has a chance to win big. Don't sabotage him. This is a wild story 2 weeks before the season. I'm with you, Brett. Get the story out of the way before the season starts. Whatever happens, if Tyreek Smith if they get it resolved, he's
get
with the
everybody
team.
paid.
Yes, if he's not with the team, whatever happens, get this over with before any games start, because I think that only makes
at some
things
point,
worse.
let's play basketball.
Let's play basketball. So I'm with you on, I'm glad this is getting out there now, but just a weird story for a Sunday night into Monday.
My not top story is Tiger football, and another wild when the Tigers hang on and win against North Texas on a night with 96 points scored, 1,179 yards, and unbelievably 10 combined punts. How two teams combined to punt that much in that kind of game?
Crazy.
This was a repeat of the track meet last year that only had 87 points combined and 1,191 total yards offense.
Should have taken the over, Brett. I mean, that's shame on me. But I'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we're talking more Tiger football with Jonah Dillon.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11, here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
The 2025 Range Rover Sport sits right at the heart of the Land Rover lineup, offering a perfect mix of style, performance, and versatility. Smaller and more agile than a full-size Range Rover, it's a great option for everyone who wants luxury and practicality. Every model comes with 8-speed automatic transmission and all-wheel drive standard. Whether you navigate city streets or tackle rough terrain, Range Rover Sport has you covered. Every drive is powerful and breathtaking. The 2025 Range Rover Sport is the epitome of sporty luxury. Test drive one at Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. I have been told that my ads are all business and I should share some of my personality. Okay, I love tongue twisters, like the one about the terrific tasting toast by Taste Tester Toaster, or Big Black Bugs, Bleed Blue Blood, and of course Sally and her seashells. Or of course the ever-present I'm a mother pheasant plucker, I pluck mother pheasants. Okay, enough of that. If you want an honest, fair, reasonable roofing, siding, or gutter estimate, call 5Ash Roofing at 367-0050. That's exactly what you'll get. No empty promises, no high-pressure sales tactics, and no fast-talking salesman trying to convince you that today and only today is the best day for you to get a new roof. For the record, the best day to get a new roof is when you're ready for one. 5Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you. It's here, Genesis Diamond's largest ever sale on luxury pre-owned Rolex watches. If you've ever dreamed of wearing a Rolex, you can't miss this special two-day event this Friday and Saturday. During this event, you can take advantage of special pricing and zero interest financing on a stunning selection of luxurious pre-owned Rolex timepieces. We've got Rolex Golds, Submariners, Daytonas, Pepsis, the hottest model Rolex watches that you can't find anywhere else. All of our luxury pre-owned Rolexes are in pristine, light new condition, some just out of the box, and all priced to sell at this event. Listen to this: with purchase of any luxury pre-owned Rolex at this event, Genesis will give you a pair of 2-carat black gold diamond stud earrings for free. That's a $3,000 value. Listen up, Rolex owners and pre-owned Rolex buyers are on site offering top dollar for your Rolex. Come see the largest selection of Rolex watches in the state and take advantage of special financing. Plus, get a pair of 2-carat black gold diamond stud earrings free. It's this Friday and Saturday only at Genesis Diamonds on Poplar and Perkins Extended.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Don't do it.
Don't do what?
Don't do another Halloween spot for Central Barbecue.
But it's October. Doing a Halloween spot for Central Barbecue is a tradition.
But it doesn't make it a good thing.
Nothing else happens in October.
Baseball?
Not if you're a Cardinals fan. What else you got?
National Candy Corn Day.
No Central Barbecue connection.
Fair point. How about Make a Difference Day?
That's to encourage people to do something constructive for the world.
And going to Central Barbecue isn't?
I'm telling you, it's got to be Halloween.
There's no other choice, I guess.
Hey, Zeke.
Yeah?
This year, give the kiddies ribs on Halloween. They love that.
Seriously, next year, something new.
I'm Kevin Harlan from Monday Night Football on Westwood One. We'll have great matchups all season long on the road to the playoffs and Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans. Join Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner and me for one of the NFL's great traditions, Monday Night Football on Westwood One.
Right here on Sports 56.
Hi, I'm Kamiko, the founder of Miko's Hot Chicken. When we started our family restaurant, we were also raising a family. But let me tell you, it wasn't easy. Our Chase Inc. card was there to reward us on all of our business needs. Now we have a thriving location, and we're hungry for more.
Chase Inc. Business Unlimited card. You can earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for business. Make more with yours. No business owners compensated for the participation. Card issued by JP Morgan Chase Bank and another FDIC, subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
O'Reilly.
Extend the life of your engine with a full synthetic oil change and save at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Right now, pick up 5 quarts of O'Reilly full synthetic motor oil and a MicroGuard oil filter for $29.99. Or upgrade to a MicroGuard Select filter for just $2 more. Limit supply. Offer in-store only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stack, Sports Ruby, and Brian Davis.
Welcome back in Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you, and joining us now to talk some Tiger football, Jonah Dillon, the Tiger football beat reporter for the Commercial Appeal, joins us now. Jonah, thanks so much for joining us. A high-scoring affair at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium Saturday night. Pretty much what you told us last week. A good offense for North Texas, a not-so-good defense for North Texas, and it showed on Saturday. High scoring by both teams. What was your biggest takeaway from the Tigers' win over North Texas?
Yeah, it was a fun game, right? And it had been a minute since we saw that, so it was a little bit refreshing. Like going down the stretch, the game was obviously in the balance until the final play when Chandler Martin gets that interception. And it was, I know that Ryan Silverfield said today he doesn't like shootouts. Heart attack city is what he called it.
I agree.
And I think it's funny because last year it felt like every game we were saying, man, it was another shootout. This is crazy, and why do we have to do this? And I'm thinking, man, I got to write 10 different stories during the game because I don't know what's going to happen. Then this year I'm thinking, let's get some games that are back and forth, some more stuff happening. And so it was almost like refreshing as they went back and forth. And there were so many points. It started so quickly, right? Like the first quarter was wild, just the amount of touchdowns. Obviously, North Texas with the 2 long touchdowns on their first 2 plays. And look, Memphis' offense rose to the occasion. I think that's obviously we got to also talk about the defense. But we've been waiting for this offense, and I said it to you guys last week. If the offense doesn't play well against this defense, then we've got to have a pretty uncomfortable conversation. That didn't happen. They played well. Mm-hmm. There was a little bit of a lull in the middle of the game, and then they overcame it. They had that long touchdown pass to Demir Blankovsky, which was a big moment in the game and could be a big moment in the season. And ultimately, they figured out a way to win. They won in a different way, and so I think that was impressive. Jonah, was it this defense, or did the Tigers really find something? That's a good question. I mean, I think there were definitely some things. Look, like we said, this defense is not very good, so we got to caveat it with that. Again, the touchdown to Demir Blankovsky, that's the play that we've been waiting for all season. We sort of saw it last week. He had a touchdown catch, but it wasn't that kind of play, the kind of play where he runs a post and he's streaking down the middle of the field. Seth Hennigan lofts it up to him, and they end up getting a play like that. We saw that so many times last year to so many different receivers, and we just haven't seen it at all this entire year. And I thought Rock Taylor also obviously had a big drop on what would have been a long touchdown pass. But aside from that, he played pretty well, and he had some big conversions. And it looked like that connection between Seth Hennigan and Rock Taylor is kind of back to where it was last season. And so there are definitely signs that we can take and say, okay, this offense is in a better place than it was. And the one other thing is, Seth Hennigan mentioned it after the game, last year the offense played okay the first half of the season, and then they turned it on, and they played much better the second half of the season. Now, it was even what they played this first half of the season was behind what they were doing last year. But he kind of said, yeah, let's hope that this was the turnaround and we can keep it going moving forward. So the Tigers are 6-1 through 7 games. They've been in 2 wild ones. It was pretty wild up at Navy, 56-44. We know Navy tacked on that last 7 on the Seth Hennigan interception return. And Saturday night, 52-44. After seeing the Liberty Bowl against Iowa State, and even early this year in the upset win down at Tallahassee, did you think Memphis would be in this many wild ones, or do you think more wild ones are to come? I probably would have said even more wild ones, because the Florida State game wasn't really, right? It was more of a defensive struggle. And then these other games, because even last year, the games that we thought wouldn't be competitive at all ended up being shootouts, right? Like the Charlotte game, the UAB game, the first half, which was just wild, all the things that were happening defensively to both teams. This year, like you said, the Navy game, that was certainly a surprise because that's not what we expect from Navy. This game, I think it made sense, obviously, knowing what North Texas' skill set is. But I would have expected a lot of shootouts based on what we saw from this team last year and what we saw from this defense. And that's why over the first half of the season, I think the defensive improvements was such a big story, because you're watching this game and seeing things that you maybe didn't expect. And that kind of changes your perception of what you expect from a team. Mm-hmm.
Jonah, you tweeted this out earlier today at Ryan Silverfield's press conference that Ryan Silverfield says Memphis is going with Tristan Vanderberg as its kicker moving forward. Vanderberg replaced Caden Costa during Saturday's game. We saw that change late in the game when Vandenberg came in, knocked down a field goal. What did Ryan Silverfield have to say after Saturday's game and then today about the recent kicking struggles?
Yeah, well, we've heard it basically all season. I mean, after the first game of the season, they won 40-0, and he came to the press conference that our kicking game was awful today. Caden Costa had missed an extra point in that game, and he's struggled throughout the season. He's made some kicks And he missed a kick in Saturday's game, and then that was kind of it. Now, it wasn't totally out of left field because, again, this has been something that's been talked about throughout the season. But then what was really interesting was, like, that was an interest, down the stretch, Tristan Vandenberg comes in. They're in a situation on a fourth down where they could have gone for it, and I don't know that you trust any college kicker, and then you're going to trust what's basically your backup kicker to make, I think, a 43-yard field goal, and he puts him out there, and everyone's thinking, wow, this is a bold call, right? Because this is somebody who started the game not expecting to kick any field goals or any extra points. And he goes in there and he makes it. And at that point, it's kind of like, okay, well, he's probably the kicker moving forward because he came in, he made that kick. Caden Costa had obviously missed earlier in the game. It's going to be interesting. Tristan Vandenberg obviously has a huge leg because he's the kickoff specialist, and he's done a really good job in that role, kicking out of the end zone kind of all the time. And so now we're going to see how he does. Obviously, he's been in the program a couple of years. It is interesting, though. Look, Caden Costa, they wanted to go get a kicker in the portal in this offseason. And this is the guy they went and got. He comes from Ole Miss, and he was really good his freshman year there. And Justin Vandenberg has been in the program. They obviously looked at him as a kickoff specialist, and now he's going to be their kicker moving forward. And so, yeah, it's something to talk about, and we'll see, obviously, how it pays off, moving forward in the next couple of games.
Yeah.
It must be confidence with Caden Costa because I know he's got the leg. Jonah Dillon with us on the Sissy's Log Cabin Guest Line, talking the Tigers' big win Saturday night, and boy, it was big, 52-44 over North Texas. And, Jonah, we're getting close to being at a point in the year that I always really like when we get there. It's my point of the year of this is who you are. This is what you're going to be. Because even with a portal, you're not going out and getting a new nose guard at this point. This is what you got to kind of have to go with. With that, what do you think Memphis is?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good question because my answer last week would have been different than it is now, probably. Because I'd kind of been thinking that last week as we looked at, okay, well, now we're halfway through the season. So these things that are happening, it's not anomalies. It's not one-off things. It's like this is what this team is. And what this team was for the first half of the season was basically a defensive stalwart, right? Aside from the Navy game, it's the defense that was carrying them through all those wins. And then they go out on Saturday and they play like that against North Texas. Now, for all the good about the offense, the defense, they adjusted and they made plays down the stretch. But there were a lot of times in this game, obviously, you give up 44 points where they looked lost. And North Texas is a good offense. At the same time, if you look at the whole season, the two really good offenses that they played were Navy and North Texas, and they didn't really show up in either of those games. And if you look at the other five offenses, those teams are not putting up lots of points on anybody, right? Mm-hmm. And so maybe we need to reevaluate how we've talked about this defense. I think we'll see how that goes moving forward, and they're going to play some other good offenses moving forward. Even Charlotte has put up a lot of points on some teams, so we'll see how that goes this weekend. But, yeah, ask me in a couple weeks. I'm still working on the answer.
It feels like this has been a weekly question to you, but I'll ask you again. Hopefully it's going to be the last week maybe I have to ask this question. Greg Duosier, what did Ryan Silverfield have to say about him and other injuries on this team?
Yeah, I definitely think he's getting close. Ryan Silverfield said, basically said he thinks he can come back this week or next week, and there's been encouraging signs, right? Like he's been more active. He's on the sideline not wearing a sling anymore, which obviously if he's on the sideline wearing a sling, he's not going to play. He's closer to getting back to being able to play. That's going to be important because Brandon Thomas, he stayed in and Ryan Silverfield said he's fine. He's going to play this weekend, but he was kind of chipped up during the game. He went out for a second. And obviously, we haven't talked about Mario Anderson. Mario Anderson has had an excellent game on Saturday. He was dominant, but 22 carries. I don't know that anyone wants to just have running backs carrying the ball 25. He's up close to 30 touches a game with the way they've been playing the past couple weeks. And so obviously they want to get other guys in there. And I think Greg Duosier coming back would be a big boost. It would allow them to do a lot of different things offensively with his kind of unique skill set, especially with Sutton Smith out. And so, yeah, I think it could be this week. It could be next week, but I would definitely expect him to be back in kind of the near future.
Jonah, the rest of the year, the Tigers face Charlotte this week, a 3-4 team that they're 18.5-point favorites over at home. Then they go to now 3-4 UTSA, then 2-5 Rice, then 1-6 UAB. Trent Dilfer could be out by the time the Blazers come to Memphis, and then they close the season out Thanksgiving night against a really good John Summerall Tulane team. There's almost no way the Tigers lose 2 more times, maybe max just 1 more time. Why not gloom, but why not the ebullient happy days are here again? Do you feel like Tiger football right now is existing in successful anonymity?
Maybe. I mean, the thing is, there's 2 things. One, you have to win out. Probably 1 more loss is going to knock you out, especially with where Army is right now. They only have 2 conference games left. And I think 1 more loss is going to knock Memphis out of the AAC title race, and with that, obviously, the college football playoff race. It's interesting because, obviously, we started the season talking about a lot of people nationally talking about Memphis as their pick to go to the playoff among the group of 5 teams. And then the loss to Navy puts you behind these other teams, right? We know that Memphis right now is behind, at the very least, Boise State, Army, and Navy. Now, all those teams could lose. There's still plenty to play for, and Memphis is still in the thick of it. I think if Memphis were to lose again, then we'd have to have a different conversation. And at the end of the year, okay, you're going to look back and say, oh, they went 10-2, or they did this. Was it a good season? The reality is, what we have to remember, this season started talking about playoff expectations. And so if that's the expectation, even internally in the program, they'll tell you that the expectation is to win the AAC. And so if you don't do that, then you didn't meet the expectation. And so that's what we're going to have to think about when we kind of look back on this season. But the important part is that it's still in front of them. They have to win. And like you said, they should win, right? These teams, especially until Tulane, Memphis should be favored significantly against all these teams. And it'll be interesting to see because we had this stretch last season with a lot of games like this, and there were a lot of close calls, right? North Texas and Charlotte being the 2 most obvious ones. Let's see if there's a lot of close calls this year or if they can kind of assert themselves against this level of competition.
Yeah. Well, it should be a fun one this weekend. Another home game at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. You mentioned it, 18.5-point favorite over Charlotte, as always. Jonah, thanks so much for joining us. We'll do it again next Monday.
Yep, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jonah. Jonah Dillon joining us to talk some Memphis football, and that's a big number on Saturday, and I think that they'll cover it. I'll go ahead and say it. I don't need Friday football forecast. I'm taking the Tigers.
There you go. We got you. We got you down early in the week. We called your shot. We'll give it to you at 18.5, Brian, if you want it. Remind me of that Friday. Boy, Brian, I don't want to be anti-country, sure don't want to be anti-military, but go North Texas against Army.
Oh yeah, I know. If you're the Tigers, you're rooting for these other teams. I know Navy and Army are a fun story, but with those conference games left, if they get nicked up, Tigers are right back there. In the mix. They're still in the mix right now to be in the conference title game, but you certainly want Army and Navy to get nicked up a little bit so that you can have a better shot.
I don't have the AAC tiebreaker at hand, but let's say Memphis wins out. Sure. They've already defeated North Texas. Mm-hmm. North Texas beats Army. Sure. Navy loses to Tulane. Mm-hmm. There's the win-out part by the Tigers. I think that's good for one of the 2 spots in the AAC championship game, isn't it?
Again, we don't have the tiebreakers in front of us, but you would think that would be good enough to get you in there.
I don't know if it's hosting or not, but it's good for one slot of it. Win that, and then all the preseason dreams are right there in front of you.
Exactly. So there's still a ton to play for, and I think you mentioned it that it feels like there's a part of the fan base that is just almost given up on the season or stopped caring about this season, but there's still so much in front of you right now.
I don't know if it's not caring as much as nonplussed by it.
Okay, well then I'll throw that in there because I've seen a good amount of people that it feels like they don't care anymore about this season for the.
And Brian, the last people I want to hector or complain about are the ones that are going.
Oh, exactly, 100%. 100%.
They sure can't be assigned any blame.
No, they care the most. They're there every weekend.
They do. Yes. They care whether you got to go with a hard hat on or you got to through all these years. They're there.
That's right. No, you are absolutely right. But 18.5. The opening line for Memphis versus Charlotte. Let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk some Major League Baseball. We've got the World Series set. Dodgers versus Yankees. We'll talk about that next.
Guns, and more guns. Over 700 firearms in stock. Home defense guns, old guns, new guns, used guns, big guns, little guns. Every gun you can think of, Classic Arms has them. All brands like Glock, Sig, Colt, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Browning, Beretta, Benelli, Remington, Winchester, and more. Guaranteed lowest prices and taxes. free gun inspections and appraisals, and free bore sighting for the upcoming deer season. Shop online at ClassicArmsOfMemphis.com or visit Classic Arms at 1740 Germantown Parkway behind Quirky's Barbecue in Cordova.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
This is Lauren Choate Air Conditioning, Heating, Plumbing, and Generators. Right now, we're offering our Choate's Comfort and Safety Special. For a limited time, when you purchase a $99 tune-up, or if Choate's performs a repair, you'll receive a free 1-year standard fan plan membership at $400 value. Keep your home safe, comfortable, and running smoothly all year long with 2 maintenance visits, priority service, and discounts on future repairs. And for our existing loyal fan plan members, we have something special just for you. Enjoy a $1,000 loyalty coupon toward any new generator, tankless water heater, or HVAC system. It's our way of saying thank you for trusting us with your home. Add value, add comfort, and add safety to your home with Choates. Call us today at 347-8086 or visit ChoatesHVAC.com. Choates, let our family serve your family.
You're a contractor and you need concrete coating and supplies in Memphis fast, and you get this answer? I think we can order that stuff, but you're going to have to wait a few days for delivery. Why wait? Get your concrete coatings and supplies now at TSS Supply, where everything you need is in stock. If you're working in the tri-state Tennessee, Arkansas, Mississippi area, everything you need for concrete coating is at TSS Supply, 5665 East Rains Road, Memphis. TSS Supply specializes only in concrete coatings and supplies all in one place. If you're looking for a particular item, need large quantities, or just have general questions, call 901-729-0565, 729-0565, or you can email your question to Brad at tsssupply.com. The friendly, knowledgeable folks at TSS Supply have over 150 years combined experience in concrete coatings, materials, and supplies. Contractors, are you in town for a job or getting ready to do a job for a customer during their holiday shutdown? Then you should visit TSS Supply for your concrete coatings and supplies. Why wait for materials when TSS Supply has everything you need in stock and they can get it to you today or within 24 hours? TSS Supply, 5665 East Rains Road.
I'm telling you right now, Mid-South, if you're looking for a new ride, give Bobby J a call today at Gossett Kia on the Pike. He's the man with the plan. 41 MPG, Bobby's got it in new 2024 Kia Forte LXS. $233.86 a month, $34.99 to its signing. 2025 Kia Sportage, $269 a month, $34.99 to its signing. And get holiday ready in 2024 Kia. Tell your ride S. $408.62 a month, $39.99 to its signing, all 24-month lease. Plus, you always get peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Call Bobby J. He's ready to put you in your new Kia today. That's Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Monthly $650 acquisition fee, 20 cents excess mileage, Forte RE8 34,938, MSRP 22,615, Telluride RG56 3000, MSRP 40,805, Sportage S73 40278, MSRP 29,135, includes all rebates and incentives, must finance through Hyundai, excludes tax title and license, see dealer for complete details, offer valid through 10/31/2024 with approved credit, dealer stock only.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats, Norsworthy, and Brian Davis.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we got a couple minutes left in this hour, and we got to talk some baseball because we have the World Series set. Dodgers and Yankees, what we all thought it would be before the season
Did everyone get their predictions right, Brett?
No.
Oh, who did not?
I was the anti-group lock.
Wow, Darian coming out for blood today. Good
He
Lord.
really is, Darian. 8-2 on the baseball picks.
That's
The only
why he's
two,
going out for blood.
the only two you missed, Darian, were the first two out of the gate. You had Houston over Detroit. A lot did. I won't say most, but a lot did. 3 out of 4 of us did. Bryant was the only one that had Detroit. And you had the Orioles. That was a group lock, one of our only two in the playoffs. The other one, the Yankees over Kansas City. So we're 1-1 there. You were 8-2. You nailed it. Connor and Bryant both 5-5. I miss Cleveland and the Mets 4-6. But Darren, you got us all dormant. You've won.
Lord, that's
baseball.
incredible.
Hang the banner.
Yeah.
Hang
Tis the
baseball.
season to give right now.
The postseason banner goes to you.
I guess
Who you
so.
taking in the World Series, Darren?
Ooh.
Right now, I want the Dodgers to win, but all rise. I'm going Yanks. I think it's time. Otherwise,
Dodgers are favored.
But I think it's time.
You put all your money on Yankees
Oh,
to win the World Series.
Garrett Cole. I mean, yeah, Cashman has to pay out. Like this, Cashman cash out.
Now, but let's give the Dodgers Yankees a little bit of credit. I know that they spend like small countries spend, but Boone and Roberts, they had to get to the World Series.
Yep.
Well, they did.
They did. That's right. Yeah, they made it. I think both of them deserve a lot of credit.
I do too. And sometimes managing, not just egos and agents and everything that goes with it,
Sure.
but for playing time, those star-laden teams, not as easy as it looks.
I mean, I remember before the season started, and a lot of people were saying, and I was one of them that was saying, okay, Dodgers put all this money out, but I don't know if it's going to
Get to the World Series or change managers.
Exactly.
I said that.
Yeah.
And same for Boone.
Sure, and they've both gotten here. So kudos
But
to
history
both.
shows that spending all that money doesn't always play out.
Exactly.
That's why you have the
right.
trepidation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what
and where it doesn't play out,
confidence to, or more kudos to them.
And where it doesn't play out is October. It plays out April through September.
100%.
That money, it buys you that spot into the tournament, but then to ultimately get to the World Series. I mentioned earlier 12 times, but for the first time in the World Series against each other since 1981, that was a strike year, and the Dodgers won it then.
Holy cow. That's
and
crazy.
heads roll from Steinbrenner after Yankees didn't win it then.
I believe it.
As they probably will this time if they lose.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No. I
So
don't.
Cashman has a blank check? He needs to win. Like, I think
he
he's
won a
overdue.
lot. He won a lot with Joe Torre and
Yeah.
that bunch.
But yeah, it's
been a while,
It's
though.
been a while. I guess that's what I'm getting at. It's been a while. It's been a while.
But this era of Steinbrenners don't run it like
Heavy-handed,
George
yeah.
did.
And I guess
A
that's
little
where I'm coming
different.
from. Yeah.
But hey, it should be fun. I mean, you talk about having Aaron Judge and Juan Soto on one side, Shohei on the other. I mean, it should be a fun World Series. I know a lot of people not a fan of this one because of the kind of two evil empires of Major League Baseball. But Friday night, Game 1 on Fox, a 7:08 first pitch. We'll talk a lot more about this World Series matchup in the days leading up to Friday. But let's go ahead and wrap up our first hour, get to a break, and when we come back, we're talking some college football and college basketball with David Cobb.
It's here. Genesis Diamonds, the largest ever sale on luxury so you can't miss this special two-day this Friday and Saturday. During this event, just special pricing, see the largest clients and a stunning selection of luxury brands, diamonds, hundreds of Husks, Submariners, Daytonas, Pepsi, highest model Rolex watches that you can't find anywhere else. Our luxury premium Rolexes are in pristine, like new condition, some just out of the box. All price to sell is and only at Genesis Diamonds, Poplar and Perkins Extended.
I got him on the line right now, Marty McMahon over in Gossett, Volkswagen, Germantown. Hey, what's happening, dude?
I'm going back in time, Randy, with 0% for 60 months on all 2024 Tiguan's. When's the last time you've heard that?
It's been a while, Marty. Hey, what else you got?
I've got all Peak Edition Atlases at 5,000 off MSRP.
That's awesome. Every Peak Edition Atlas, 5,000 off MSRP.
Or take your pick from 2024 Taos SE or 2024 Jetta SE, $289 a month.
2024 Taos SE or 2024 Jetta SE, $289 a month. Great Scott McNate, you do got it going on. Hey, Gossett
Gossett Volkswagen Germantown.
As for me, Marty McNade at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown. And remember, your future is what you make of it.
Get out here and see us 7420 Winchester Road or shop online, GossipVWG.com.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know. Binswanger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 145 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Binswanger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Binswanger Glass in Midtown at 340 South Hollywood, across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit binswangerglass.com. Binswanger Glass.
Family Leisure is having the world's biggest spa set. It's happening right now. You can save thousands on in-stock hot tubs that are ready to be delivered. Family Leisure has spas that start at just $28.99. You know those cold plunges? You can get one for yourself starting at $39.99. Or how about swim spas? They start at $17,499. Plus, Family Leisure has set up special financing just for this event. Have you been sitting on the fence about an above-ground pool? Get off that fence and get to Family Leisure to take advantage of huge discounts on all their in-stock above-ground pools. And if you need some patio furniture, it's all priced to move out now. It's not too late to have some summer fun, courtesy of Family Leisure. But you better hurry up. The world's biggest spa sale might go on forever. Family Leisure. Whit and Run at I-40. Family and fun come together.
Rich Eisen here from Monday Night Football on Westwood One. Join us all season long as we get you ready for primetime NFL action every Monday night. Along with Kevin Harlan, Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner, and the entire Westwood One team will take you inside the locker rooms and the stadiums for exclusive previews and all the play-by-play action. Every week on Monday Night Football.
Right here on Sports 56.
All right, gentlemen, this is Emmett Smith on behalf of Depend, and I've got the perfect play. Run straight to your doctor's office for a life-changing gift, because when prostate cancer is caught early, it's up to 99% treatable, and one blood test might be all it takes. And now through November, Depend is donating to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for select purchases. Talk about a great play.
From September 1st to November 30th, Depend is donating 30 cents to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for Depend Chain Yards real fit products purchased in the U.S. up to a maximum of $400,000 void in Mississippi.
Wendy's breakfast burrito has an entire breakfast in every bite. Fresh cracked eggs, seasoned potatoes, American cheese, cheese sauce, and sausage or bacon. So the first bite is like fresh cracked American cheese, bacon. And the second bite is like fresh cracked American cheese, bacon. You get the idea. And now, get yours with $1 any size soft drink. Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Exclusions apply.
This is Original Sports Station. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Sports on Sports 56, 95 FM. This hour is brought to you by Wilson's Car Wash, your residential and commercial pressure washing service you can trust. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dakin.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we start our 4 o'clock hour. And a lot to discuss with David Cobb, a college football weekend, a lot in the college basketball world too, as we're only a couple of weeks away, I guess 2 weeks away from the start of the college basketball season. So let's go ahead and get to David Cobb.
Joining Brian and Brett now on Sports Time is national college football writer for CBS Sports, Memphis native and Tennessee grad, who you can find on Twitter X at David W. Cobb. It's David Cobb.
David Cobb joins us now from CBS Sports, talk college football and college basketball. David, thanks so much for joining us. Let's start with some college football talk, and let's start with your Tennessee Volunteers. A big win for them against Alabama Saturday night. What'd you make of how they looked offensively? Nico was good, had that big throw late in the game, but outside of that, it was really the ground game and the defense. What did you make of their win?
Yeah, it was a tale of two halves for the offense in particular. In the end, though, the takeaway continues to be how great Tennessee's defense is. It's the best Tennessee defense that I've seen in a long time. Dare I say the best Tennessee defense since the 1998 team that won the national championship. And I'm not going to say that that's where this season is headed, because clearly there are still a lot of things to work out on the offensive side of the ball, but continues to be remarkable how well Tim Banks has that defense playing. And thankfully for Tennessee, they got just enough from Nico in the offense to squeak out a big win in the second half.
I'm going to go best Tennessee defense since John Henderson and Albert Hainworth, but really, really, really good. And, David, that was the least Tennessee could have beat Bama by. They were the better team and missed other scoring opportunities. Was it Josh Heupel's best win as head coach of Tennessee?
So the most iconic win will probably always be the 2022 win over Alabama, because of what that signified. You were beating Nick Saban. You were erasing a 15-year drought in that series. So I think in some ways that win is in a lot of ways, will stand above the 2024 victory, because we saw Alabama go to Vanderbilt and lose. And we saw Alabama almost lose at home to South Carolina. And so it kind of feels like the luster is wearing off on beating Alabama. I mean, it's obviously still very significant, but
I saw goalposts come down.
Right. Okay. I'm going to be honest. I didn't really think that victory deserved a field storming. Have your fun. Like don't get me wrong. Go out there and rush the field, whatever. Definitely light up your cigars, like celebrate for sure. I don't know. I didn't think that beating this Alabama team would necessitate a field storming, because I don't think this Alabama team is the Alabama teams that we're used to. And so when's going to be the first time that Alabama loses a road game and they don't get field stormed? I mean, because it's probably going to happen again when they go down to LSU in a few weeks. And do the LSU fans run the field for that win? I think at some point in the near future we got to stop storming the field for beating Alabama.
Well, LSU won't tear the goalpost down because they're so sacrosanct, the famed goalpost at Tiger Stadium. But they do like storming the field and milling about. For Bama, if OU pull the upset late November, they tear them down. They storm the field.
Yeah, that's true. Oklahoma is so bad; it's hard to even imagine that happening. Which is exactly why you would tear the goalpost down if you beat them, because of how unexpected that would be. Yeah, I think part of it depends on circumstances. If you're a 3-touchdown underdog and you beat Alabama, then yeah, go yank them down. But I mean, that Tennessee game was almost a toss-up on the betting line going in, and so it feels to me like we've had a field storming and court storming surge ever since COVID. I think it's just this desire to fully experience what it means to be a college sports fan, and so I don't know. Maybe I'm just clutching my pearls too much. Like maybe rush the field, whatever. But we've seen a few of them this year where I'm like, really, we're rushing the field for that?
David,
Colorado beating Baylor, that was another one. Yeah.
I'll even submit that on Thanksgiving weekend, if Auburn wins at Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium, they break into Jordan-Hare and they tear them down then.
Well, I guess in some ways you're celebrating the end of the Alabama dynasty. Maybe that's what it is.
That's what's being celebrated. King Kong, Ding Dong, the witch is dead.
Yeah, it feels like that's where we are. And not to say that Alabama couldn't run the table and find a way into the college football playoff. Like, that could still happen, but it's hard to see that happening unless they get some things figured out. And, guys, it's not just the Alabama defense. I mean, that offense is broken, too. That offense is not playing very well. Jalen Milroe's missing open receivers. They have nothing in the traditional run game right now. So there's a lot of problems for Kalen DeBoer to figure out.
All right, so you can find at least one more loss for Alabama. Can you find another loss for Texas?
Ooh. Well, let's see. I don't have the schedule pulled up, but it's not that tough. I mean, like without having like it in front of me, on the whole, relative to the other SEC schedules in the conference, Texas' schedule is not that tough. In fact, they probably just played. Well, they definitely just played their toughest game of the SEC slate. So Texas, to me, is probably getting to the last weekend of the season against Texas A&M as a one-loss team, and boy, howdy, will that be a huge game. The Aggies
it will be.
And the Longhorns reuniting for the first time since they were in the Big 12. Texas A&M might very well be in the playoff conversation at that point. Texas almost certainly will be. That one will be huge.
Yeah. Does Georgia have another loss?
They absolutely might, because they've got Tennessee, they've got Ole Miss. I mean, there's two right there that will not be easy, and everybody's going to be riding high on the Dogs after that win over Texas, and I get it, but Georgia's been really spotty this year. They've been really up and down. They've been as good or better than anyone in college football when they're at their best, like they were in the first half against Texas, like they were in the second half against Alabama, like they were in the second half against Clemson. But I've also seen them try to lose some games that they had absolutely no business losing. And I've seen them look really pretty dreadful for long stretches of time as well. And so, yeah, I do think Georgia picks up a second loss.
Oklahoma looked bad again on Saturday, this time at home against South Carolina. Now they're making a change at offensive coordinator. This is a team right now averaging about 22 points per game, only 288 total yards of offense per game. They're still 4-3, but this team does not feel like they're anywhere near a team that has a winning record right now. What have you seen so far this season and on Saturday against South Carolina from this Oklahoma team?
Hey, welcome to the SEC, boys.
Yeah.
You having fun yet? Just wait till basketball season gets here. SEC is going to be just as tough as the Big 12 was in hoop. No, it's ugly. That was a well-deserved firing. However, at the same time, not really sure what you're supposed to do when your offensive line is horrible. That's not necessarily the offensive coordinator's fault. I mean, Bill Bedenbaugh is regarded as one of the best offensive line coaches in college football, but his unit is really bad this year. Then their receivers have been dropping like flies to the point where their go-to guy, it felt like, in that game against South Carolina was a zero-star former walk-on, 5'10", 180 pounds, right? Like, what in the world happened to the firepower, the star power, the depth of that Oklahoma offense? Because it was not all that long ago. They had a great offensive line. They were stacked at receiver. Not only did they have Dylan Gabriel, but they also had a young 5-star prospect waiting in the wings in Jackson Arnold. And now, I realize, like, there's more to it than just the quarterback for Oklahoma. I get it. Like, you got to fire the offensive coordinator. The fans are restless. But there's more to it than the OC. There's more to it than the QB. Pretty much every position on that Oklahoma offense is substandard for the SEC right now. I mean, that might be – I don't think it might be. I think it definitely is the worst offense in the SEC, and I'm not sure it's really that close because Mississippi State is actually starting to sort of figure it out right now under Jeff Levy. And then you look at Vanderbilt. They're always your go-to. I mean, okay, I'll say this. It's between Kentucky and Oklahoma for worst offense in the SEC right now, and I would say that Oklahoma's might be even worse than UK's.
David, Alabama and Oklahoma has made South Carolina look a lot better than they really are. I saw South Carolina, and they're not much. If you can't defend Lenore Sellers, you don't have much.
Yeah, South Carolina is a tough one to crack because it feels like they are liable to go out there and play a close game with anybody in the country, for better or for worse. They can play Old Dominion to a touchdown, or they can go out and take a top 10 team down to the wire like they did on the road against Alabama. I can't figure them out. Their defensive front though is so good, and they were just teeing off on Oklahoma. And when they get just enough or anything at all from Lenore Sellers in the offense, and South Carolina can beat you. So they're one of those chaos teams, and that was surely very satisfying for Shane Beamer to return to Norman. I mean, it feels like every week Shane Beamer's going and playing against a team where he used to be an assistant coach because he's coached at half of the major programs in the country. It feels like, but Yeah, wow, that was just total domination on Oklahoma's home field. And I just can't imagine being an Oklahoma fan right now and thinking that, oh, yeah, this is better than life was in the Big 12.
And David, at SEC Media Days, if you had just lightly suggested in any tone or temperament or direct question of is Ole Miss or is Oklahoma really SEC ready, they were ready to fight you.
Well, here you go, boys. This is what you signed up for. It's a mess, and I'm not really sure where they go from here. You got to do a complete portal overhaul, but I think you're looking at Brent Venables going into next season on a really, really hot seat. I don't know really what they can show you from here on out.
Really green seat.
Yeah, I mean it's
with all that money.
Really well, yeah, it's a green seat. Yeah, no, I mean nothing better than being a fired football coach in the SEC right now. I'm sure Billy Napier is sitting around wondering, well, when are they going to can me? I was ready
start
to
a podcast.
Yeah, I was ready to go to Jamaica and then get into the media game or something. But no, I can't think of a fan base. I don't know who's more miserable right now. This is a fun one. Oklahoma fans or Alabama fans. I think between the two of them. I don't think Kentucky fans care.
Bama. They can look at that trophy case and feel pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's close. It's close between OU and Alabama, but. Boy, the Alabama fans just aren't used to this. I think this.
No, they're not. But Bama fans can get out that photo book of memories of trips to Orange Bowls and Rose Bowls and Cotton Bowls and BCS championship games and rings. And Daniel Moore ran out of paintbrushes. He painted so many victorious national championship montages. Oklahoma, they're still searching for their first since 2000.
Yeah, but think about this, though, for the OU fans, because, Alabama fans have a lot more to reflect on with great fondness, but even the great memories for Oklahoma are now tainted by the fact that Josh Heupel, who was a big part of some of those, he came in there and whipped your butt with Tennessee, and then Shane Beamer, who was on staff, was he with Stoops or Lincoln? I can't remember, but he was on that OU staff for a while, and he just went in there and cleaned your clock, too. That just adds insult to injury for OU.
Yeah, it sure does. Talking to David Cobb, he joins us from CBS Sports every week, talk college football and college basketball. I got to ask you, David, what'd you think of Tony Bennett calling it quits, retiring last week? Now, I got to give you credit. You wrote a story about a year or two ago about who could be next, and you had Tony Bennett as, I think, one of three that you wrote about that could be the next big-name head coach to walk away from the game. Tony Bennett made it official Friday with a press conference. What did you think about that?
Yeah, that was a shocker. 3 weeks before the season, for one of the very few remaining national championship winning coaches in the sport to hang it up at age 55. Didn't expect that. Although in some ways, as you mentioned, it was easy to call if you step back and look at the big picture. Maybe it shouldn't be that surprising because of the way Tony Bennett has always operated, and he's always been a developmental coach and a coach whose best players are typically in their third or fourth year in the program. A coach who's never been able to compete maybe in this NIL era. He wasn't necessarily built for what college basketball is now, and that was painfully apparent in his very emotional farewell press conference. So, yeah, that one, it's a shocker, but it's also like, hey, if you look at the reasons Jay Wright hung it up and you sort of look for the next coach in that mold, I mean, Tony Bennett sort of fits it to a T. And so it's wild, but it's just the latest evidence of the fact that, we're in a totally different era now, and it's just not for everybody. And I don't blame him. I mean, you're 55, you have a national title, you got millions in the bank, your legacy is secure, and your program, let's be honest, guys, Virginia has been dwindling on the court. Since they won that national title, they've accomplished nothing in the NCAA tournament. They've still had a couple of good seasons in ACC play, but they've not been a factor in the big dance, and they've taken some really ugly losses. And it's not only been a NIL era, transfer portal era sort of thing. It's also the way that they've played. It seems like is no longer effective with the slow it down, defensive first, slowest tempo in the sport. Like it kind of felt like the game had passed Tony Bennett by, in addition to all the other external factors that are changing college sports.
Who's next? What coach will say I've had enough?
Yeah, I don't think he'll be the last by any means. There will be others. Trying to think of one, kind of like off the top of the head. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who's going to be next. Tony Bennett was kind of at the top of my list of guys who I thought might decide to hang it up. You gotta, if you're still in it at this point, like you've got the itch, and like it's so deep in your bones and in your soul that like you've just sort of made your peace with the way things are. But how about Scott Drew? He might be somebody that comes to mind for me. He's got the national title. He resurrected Baylor. He's got the money. He, like Tony Bennett, big-time family man, big-time face guy. Like, he sort of fits that mold of somebody who...
I don't have to do this.
Yeah, right. Like, normal circumstances, 15, 20 more years. Yeah, absolutely. But he's at a point in his life where he doesn't have to put up with it anymore. And, it's not getting any easier for Baylor in the NIL era either. I mean, they've got some money, but they don't have Texas money. They don't have Oklahoma money, and they're kind of in that world. So, yeah, I mean, I think Scott Drew would be one to watch out for here over the next few years.
That's an interesting one. I would not have even thought about him, but that would definitely be
does
one.
Does Porter Moser count?
I think he might get fired.
Okay. Well, there's that.
Big year for him. But, yeah, I see what you mean. Like, from if you're just looking for that profile of that sort of that demeanor, the way he carries himself, what seems to be important to him, I could see that. We'll see. I mean, he's got to have a good year at OU to keep his job. But, yeah, he kind of fits that mold from a personality standpoint.
You know who's coaching when the world's coming to an end is Rick Pitino.
That's right.
Yeah,
nothing can drive him away.
No. Oh, man.
Nothing can dissuade him.
He just went and poached Seton Hall's best player from inside the conference via the portal. I mean, that guy is
good team.
He's ready. Like, he's ready. He don't care about anything. So, yeah, if you're hanging on, like, you've got it bad.
I mean,
like,
what's left to say about it?
It's true.
No. I mean, it's crazy. So, now I think about Rick Barnes, too. Like, he's kind of got a little bit of that basketball sicko in him, too. Like, because some people look at him and they see the aw shucks, like Hickory, North Carolina, Southern Twang, and they're like, well, maybe he'd be next. But my man's 70 years old now, and, he's okay. He's down to rock with the way college basketball is operating. And I think, sometimes that surprises people that, like, he's hung in there as long as he has and really isn't showing any signs of slowing down.
Last thing for you, David. I don't know how much of this Tyreek Smith situation you've seen since last night.
I've seen it.
What do you make of this situation a couple weeks before the season?
Yeah, so don't know the details on it. I can't shed light on the circumstances around his departure, right? Like that, I'm sure there's people with more insight on the details and the nitty gritty.
Sure.
But if you step back and you evaluate it from 1,000 feet away, it just looks like more dysfunction for a program that's been through a lot of it. And I say that, but also on the court, they're reasonably well equipped to withstand it. But if you get another one, that's when it starts to really snowball. If this is going to be the only one, then like, okay, maybe it's all right. But like, if you get an injury now or something, it just depletes your depth a little bit, because I think they'll be fine so long as Musa Cisse is healthy, and so long as Dane Danger can look a little better than he did in that exhibition game. Like, I think they'll be all right. Nick Jourdain looked great in the front court in that exhibition. But Tyreek Smith looked good. You would have liked to have him. If you stay healthy and you don't have any other issues like this one, then I think you're okay from an on-court perspective, but it hurts your depth, and it really hurts the perception of the program when they've already gone through all the chaos that they've been going through.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not the story you wanted to see. But like Brett and I said earlier, maybe good to get it out of the way before the season starts, and it's not something that pops up in the season like Jordan Brown last year. But we shall see. David, as always, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you again next week.
All right, guys, sounds good.
Thanks, David. David Cobb joining us from CBS Sports, talk some college football and college basketball. Well, do me a favor. Picture your home beautifully clean and pristine. Does that seem impossible to you? Well, not if you call Wilson's Pro Wash. Their Gentle Touch Pro Wash will restore your house, fence, driveway, commercial building, and more to their very best. Wilson specializes in cleaning all harsh surfaces, from concrete to stone, brick to mortar, even wood to vinyl siding. Then Wilson's can seal your your surfaces so they stay looking brand new. Wilson's Pro Wash, clean is their mission. They'll wash away everything but your sins, so give them a call at 901-524-6799. That's 901-524-6799, or visit them online at wilsonsprowash.com. Let's get to another break, and when we come back, it'll be time for our Sissy's Log Cabin. Look back at the weekend in the SEC.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Vergas. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making the Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Vergas Rendezvous. A legendary experience for over 75 years, whether you dine in, pick up, or ship across the country.
Hi, this is Lauren Choate Air Conditioning, Heating, Plumbing, and Generators. Right now, we're offering our Choate's Comfort and Safety Special. For a limited time, when you purchase a $99 tune-up, or if Choate's performs a repair, you'll receive a free 1-year standard fan plan membership at $400 value. Keep your home safe, comfortable, and running smoothly all year long with 2 maintenance visits, priority service, and discounts on future repairs. And for our existing loyal fan plan members, we have something special just for you. Enjoy a $1,000 loyalty coupon toward any new generator, tankless water heater, or HVAC system. It's our way of saying thank you for trusting us with your home. Add value, add comfort, and add safety to your home with Choates. Call us today at 347-8086 or visit ChoatesHVAC.com. Choates, let our family serve your family.
Napa Cafe celebrates 26 years in 2024. Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner. Maybe start with an appetizer like our baked sweet peculiar peppers stuffed with goat cheese and mozzarella, finished with basil pistou, and move on to one of our cozy dishes like the double chocolate stout braised boneless beef short ribs with tonkatsu sauce and creamy mashed potatoes, or a fresh seafood dish like our pan-roasted ginger buttered sea bass with cilantro soy vinaigrette. I get hungry just talking about it. Don't forget about dessert, our famous sweet buttermilk pie with brown sugar sauce, or drink your dessert with one of our signature dessert cocktails, like the lemon cheesecake martini, lemony, icy, frothy, and dusted with graham cracker crumbs. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. Come join us as we celebrate 26 years of Napa Cafe. We can't wait to serve you.
When you think about insurance and you want great value without sacrificing great service, I want you to think one place: the Eflin Insurance and the entire Eflin Insurance team. Matt and his group of professionals will access 10 leading companies to find the right home and auto program that fits your budget and your absolute needs. The Eflin Insurance team, the number 386-GER, 386-4777.
I'm with John Burgos from the world-famous Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948.
Brett, we have catered parties all over this country and all over the world, from Singapore, Australia, to Central Park in New York. But many people don't realize how much we do locally. For holiday events, office parties, tailgating, birthday parties, you can't do better than the Rendezvous. For example, you can get a cheese and sausage tray for 15 to 300 people for $3.75 per person. You can even build your own nacho bar for $10.50 per person. All you need is a minimum of 15 people. In many cases, we can arrange delivery and full-service catering. We've even made it easy to get to-go items. You can just park at our front door in the alley, put on your flashes, and we'll get you going ASAP. For all your catering items and prices, go to hogsfly.com, click on menu, and drop down to catering.
Thank you, John. The Rendezvous, Mr. Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948 and celebrating its 75th year.
Sports 56 traffic.
trying to pick up the last few minutes through the Midtown area on 240 South at Lamar. All that traffic coming out of Midtown headed down past Norris. Traffic still moving right now. 240 getting onto 385 Billmore Parkway. Now there's been a little bit of radar in the last hour on I-40 as you leave Shelby County into Fayette County. Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your full-service, family-owned jewelry store here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Wilson's Pro Wash, your residential and commercial pressure washing service you can trust. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Time for a look back at the weekend in the SEC. Brought to you by Sissy's Log Cabin, the official jeweler of the Memphis Grizzlies with 9,000 square foot in Laurelwood. Let's go inside the SEC with Bryant and Brett.
Chad Kelly in the gun formation. 3rd and inches for Ole Miss.
Carlton will kick it. It is on the way, and it is up.
Buck Bellew looking at it, going to pitch it to Herschel Walker, try to get him outside. He's going to get 5.
The snap is high. Kelly grabs it, wants to throw, fires it up in the air. Treadwell can't get it.
It is good! Oh, my!
Get a deflection is caught! Deflection is caught! And down the sidelines is Adebayo. He's to the end zone. He's in there. Touchdown, Ole Miss.
He's got 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. He needs a block. There goes Herschel. There goes Herschel.
And you can wrap this one in maroon and white, my friends.
Arkansas is headed to Atlanta.
The national champion is clad in big orange.
Unbelievably, 8 weeks down, only 6 to go in the season. Bryant, can you believe that? That completed 8 weeks of play. One thing I really did enjoy Saturday, I listened to a lot of, because I think a lot of all these crews, I listened to a lot of the Tennessee pregame show, and it had John Ward calling Jay Graham's touchdown run in 1996.
Holy cow.
And I had never heard it because I was there. I was at Neyland Stadium that day when he got loose late against Alabama. Got to hear a lot of the Tennessee pregame show, a lot of the Arkansas pregame show, and listened to a lot of the Tiger pregame show. And you want to hear others and see what they're doing very well. And that's three that I hold a lot of regard for, and always trying to get a little better. Well, the day started with a great game in Columbia. Missouri 21-17 over Auburn. Mizzou now 6-1 overall, 2-1 in league play. Are they the most fortunate 6-1 team in the country? Auburn 2-5, 0-4, tied for dead last in the SEC. Brady Cook, he does his best Willis Reed, comes back from being injured after going to the hospital. Returns, led 2 fourth-quarter drives. Jamal Roberts got over with 46 seconds left. They were able to hang on. He got hurt on the opening series. Auburn's only wins this year against Alabama A&M and New Mexico. Turnovers just kill this bad Auburn team. This week, Auburn at Kentucky, Mizzou at Bama.
It's crazy. I mean, you were watching this game, and I'll just be honest, I had Missouri -3. I took that early in the morning. We did, but let me tell you something. When I saw Brady Cook leave the game, I was panicked, and then the rest of the game, I'd given up. I was watching the game. I was like, all right, this one's over. Good job for Auburn. Credit to them. Okay.
For a play or two, what backup looked worse, the Mizzou backup or the Tennessee backup that came in and threw the flutter ball interception? Tennessee won by a mile.
Tennessee, but man, neither were very good. And Missouri's backup, oh man, they were definitely very happy when Brady Cook came back. The gamer, just the energy that he pumped in to
his
that
college
team.
moment.
Yes, when he returned from that injury was massive. Missouri stays alive. You mentioned it. They've been a lucky team all year. And on the other side, Auburn, man, they just cannot catch a break. They've just not had a good season at all, and it just continues to get worse.
South Carolina early and often in Norman over Oklahoma, 35-0. 9. So OU wasn't SEC ready after all. They would have fought you if you said that in Dallas at media days, and they clearly are not. South Carolina now 4-3. Oklahoma now 4-3. 2 early defensive scores in the first quarter for South Carolina. 9 South Carolina sacks. 13 South Carolina tackles for loss. 22 points off 4 OU turnovers. 53 yards rushing for Oklahoma. 4 turnovers. OU in Oxford this week against Ole Miss. South Carolina open date.
It's what a wild game that was, and what a wild season it's been for both of these teams. I mean, if you had told me before the season that this Oklahoma season was going to include Jackson Arnold being benched for Michael Hawkins Jr., he would start for a couple of games, and then he would get benched for Jackson Arnold, I would say you're crazy. There's no way that happens, but here we are. This offense has looked really bad. I mentioned it with David earlier, but they're averaging 22 points per game right now, only 288 total yards of offense per game for this Oklahoma team. They got 291 against South Carolina, only 53 yards on the ground. They've just not looked good. And this is a South Carolina team, Brad, that you mentioned earlier. This is not a great South Carolina team. They are not very good. And I remember early in the season, week 3, week 4, I was going, I don't know what to do with this team because they go out there and look good against a team like Kentucky. They go out there and look bad against this team. And I just don't think they're a very good team. But Oklahoma, yeah, not ready at all for SEC play. And it's hard to watch them.
Both quarterbacks Saturday night at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium in Memphis, Seth Hennigan and Chandler Morris, both would start for either one of these teams, South Carolina or Oklahoma. Third Saturday in October, Tennessee prevails 24-17 over Bama. Cigar smoked in the Smokies, 2 straight over the Tide at Neyland Stadium. Dylan Sampson rushed for 139 and 2 touchdowns. Jalen Milroe was harassed all day by the Tennessee D. 25 of 45, 239, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He was not very good. No. 220 yards rushing for Tennessee, only 75 yards rushing for Alabama. 15 Bama penalties, 11 Tennessee penalties. That officiating crew loves to call penalties. That's the crew that Ole Miss had against LSU the week before that. Bama 3 for 14 on third down. Open date for Tennessee, well-deserved after beating Florida and Bama. Bama at home against Mizzou. Bama 2-2 in the SEC, 5-2 overall. Tennessee 3-1 in league play, 6-1 overall.
Yeah, Mizzou, Alabama is going to definitely be a game to keep an eye on. But for Tennessee, what a game for them. I've been really impressed with Dylan Sampson, the way he's played this year, 139 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground. Nico was okay. You know, he didn't have a great game, but he did have a great throw, that 1 touchdown pass that he threw.
Sometimes you just need to be okay.
Exactly, and that
ride
was
the running game, ride your defense.
Exactly, especially when you're that young. I mean, it's okay to have performances like that, and I thought it was perfect. It's what they needed when they needed him to come up with a big play. He did it with that 1 touchdown pass. This defense has been great for Tennessee all season long. You know, I heard a lot of people, this Alabama defense has been really bad, but the offense has been good. And then you look at Twitter, you look at ESPN, everyone's talking about this Alabama offense being a mess against Tennessee, and I think a lot of that is credit to this Tennessee defense, how well they've played. Jalen Milroe was not comfortable at all throughout that game, and Tennessee gets a big win.
If you like maroon, you should have turned on the A&M Mississippi State game because it was a lot of it. And A&M prevailed 34-24 over State. Le'Veon Moss, 2 touchdowns, 6 straight W's for Mike Elko's Aggies. Michael Van Buren getting better for Jeff Lebby's offense. Had a critical interception, but 3 touchdowns for the freshman. State home this week against Arkansas. They've won 9 out of the last 12 against the Razorbacks. A&M at Kyle Field against LSU. That'll be 2 6-1 teams.
Yeah, it's going to be a big game next week for A&M and LSU. But on the other side, Mississippi State, you mentioned Van Buren, 3 touchdowns for him, 1 interception. But, this offense, it looks like slowly they're starting to pick things up and look better each and every week. But definitely good win for Texas A&M and Mississippi State. I thought they were competitive again.
Saturday night in Fayetteville, LSU 34-10 over Arkansas. Caden Durham with 3 touchdowns, and Damian Ramos, the kicker, with 4 field goals. Garrett Nussmeier, 23 of 34, Mr. Efficient, 233 passing, no touchdowns, but no interceptions. 3 Arkansas turnovers and only 38 yards rushing. LSU only punted once. LSU this week at A&M, Arkansas this week at Mississippi State.
Yeah, this was all LSU early. I mean, they jumped out and 10-0 at the end of the first quarter, and they really never looked back. Taylon Green was okay. He wasn't great. Didn't run the ball. Wasn't as mobile as he usually is, and that's what I was really worried about going into this game. Nussmeier looked good. Certainly that run game for LSU looked good. A good game for LSU. This is one that a lot of people thought Arkansas could pull another big upset, but they went in there and did the work, did what they needed to do, come out with a win, and now a big one like we just mentioned against Texas A&M.
Vandy 24-14 over Ball State, and a whopping 3-game winning streak for Vanderbilt. 82 yards rushing and 275 by Captain America Diego Pavia, the Vanderbilt quarterback. They're now 5-2. Only 2 penalties for 10 yards for Vandy. Only 2 penalties this week at home against Texas. It should have been game day.
It should have been. I'm with you. I'm a little disappointed.
It will be Fight Song Friday. Song.
Let's go. Yes. Anchor down. We have officially become an Anchor Down Vanderbilt show. I love this. This game was what Vanderbilt football has been all season. It's get the ball, control the time of possession, and try to just score points. And that's what they did. They only won by 10, but, they dominated in every single category that you needed them to dominate in, and they get the win 3 straight. They're in the top 25. What's there not to be happy about if you're a Vandy fan?
Not so fast on firing Billy Napier. All Gators over Kentucky 48-20. 5 touchdowns for Jaden Ball. First win by Florida since 2020 over Kentucky. Brock Vandegrift bad again. Ole Miss his only good game. DJ Lagway was okay to really good for Florida. Florida open date. Kentucky home against Auburn.
Yeah, you mentioned it. Vandegrift has not been good this season. Yeah, that one game against Ole Miss one time, and unfortunately,
so glad I got to
Ole
see
Miss. It. Yes, but on the other side, Florida got the run game going. That looked good. But a good win for them, and Billy Napier stays alive. I think not much takeaway from this game.
A cocktail party win would.
Oh, that'd be huge.
Go a long way.
Yeah.
Win in Austin would go
a long way.
Win at home against LSU would go a long way.
Sure
that
would.
November schedule.
A lot of ifs, though, on there, though, Brett.
That schedule hadn't changed from the preseason, has it?
It has not.
Last game of the night was the big one. Georgia doubles up Texas 30-15 at DKR. 3 Trevor Etienne touchdowns, 29 yards rushing for Texas. Earl Campbell could stumble out of bed and get 29 yards rushing. Only 29 yards rushing for the Longhorns. 4 Texas turnovers. Ewers was bad. Arch not much better. Kirby and the Dogs get well in Austin. Did you see that camera shot in the first half, Bryant? Right before halftime, and it showed Ewers and Arch sitting on the bench by each other.
Oh, man.
And it looked like they were saying, you're going in. No, you're going in. I'm not. They were coming from everywhere.
Oh yeah. No, that Georgia defense was fantastic. And looked so good in that game. You mentioned it. 29 rushing yards for Texas. That's
29.
Incredible. I mean,
Ricky Williams sneezed.
Yes. It's unbelievable. And it was all Georgia all night long. I know. Texas goes out in third quarter, puts up 15. But you mentioned it. Quinn Ewers can't get anything done. They try to switch things up, maybe get a little momentum shift with Arch in there. He's not able to do anything.
All it's done now is got Ewers looking over his shoulder.
It sure does, and that might be worse for Texas going
Arch
down
could have stolen that job.
He definitely could have. I mean, he goes out there and gets something rolling. We're having a completely different conversation today. I mean, Carson Beck was not great either. It was, good run game, great defense. That's what got Georgia this win.
And the officiating.
It
was just tragic to see.
It sure was.
On the fly, and then the everything that went with it. And Texas has been in the SEC 2 months, basically. Been playing sports for 2 months, right?
Yeah, that's
been in since July 1, but been playing since the start of the season. In 2 months, Texas has been treated better than Arkansas and South Carolina that's been in for 33 years, and for Mississippi State and Ole Miss and their charter members. Texas is getting that Texas privilege again.
No, they sure are. They sure are. And then, what was it yesterday, the statement that came out by the SEC that, we're not going to do anything right now, but just know we might.
Wait, no.
We might in the future. Okay, so much for a statement.
Cameras everywhere in these stadiums. They could find who was throwing stuff.
Sure, 100%.
I mean, we know where it was coming from.
Yeah, we know exactly where it's coming from.
No need to go look on the opposite side of the stadium to see if they're doing it.
No. We know exactly where that was coming from. But yeah,
it's just incredible that both UTs have littered the field with stuff, and not a lot of punishment for it.
No, and certainly Texas just coming to the party and making
who
a mess.
They think they are.
Exactly. What'd you say, Brett? Before back the line. I mean, you don't come in and just
they
get to do whatever you want.
It's the new shiny toy for the league.
No,
you can
right.
see it and you can feel it, and already getting better treatment than two founding members and two members since 1992. That's the look back at the SEC, brought to you every Monday by Sissy's Log Cabin, the official jeweler of the hometown teams like the Grizzlies and like the Tigers. Great supporters of both. Every week we look back at the SEC, brought to you by Sissy's Log Cabin. 9,000 square feet in Laurelwood with expanded lines for Rolex, Cartier, diamonds, and more since 1970, with all the great locations across the Mid-South. Official jeweler for the Memphis Grizzlies in FedEx Forum with the floor seat lounge. Unsurpassed value, exceptional service, expansive selection, and an extraordinary shopping experience, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Well, let's get to another break, and when we come back, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
It doesn't matter what time of year it is, it's always the right time to visit Bell Tavern, Memphis' perfect downtown neighborhood bar. Bell Tavern is right off Deacon Alley, right at the very center of downtown, but Bell Tavern doesn't have the hurried atmosphere of a lot of places downtown. Bell Tavern is laid back, comfortable, and has hands down the coldest beer and best cocktails anywhere, not just downtown. We say it all the time. You could go to a chain bar if that's what you like, but once you visit Bell Tavern, you'll never go to a chain bar again.
All 24-month lease, $650 acquisition fee, 20 cents excess mileage, Forte RE 834-938, MSRP 22,615, Telluride RG 56-3000, MSRP 40,805, Sportage S73 40278, MSRP 29,135, includes all rebates and incentives, must finance through Hyundai, excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/31/2024 with approved credit, dealer stock only.
Hey, Jeff Allen, are you ready to give the Mid-South your best deal ever at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah?
I'm always ready, Randy. Gas prices got you down? How about 41 MPG highway and a 2024 Kia Forte LXS at $233.86 a month? $34.99 do it signing. 2025 Kia Sport is $269 per month. $34.99 do it signing. And get ready for the holidays and hit the road in a 2024 Kia Telluride S, $408.62 per month. $39.99 do it signing. All 24-month lease.
Plus, all those bad boys come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
Or online anytime at KiaMountMoriah.com.
The time for holiday hosting is upon us, so make your second bathroom second to none with HomeDepot.com's best savings of the season. Right now, enjoy up to 40% off select online baths. Find the latest on-trend styles of vanities, faucets, showers, tubs, toilets, and more. All at prices that will let your budget relax right along with you and your beautifully renovated bath. Get up to 40% off select online bath plus free delivery at the Home Depot. Subject to availability, see HomeDepot.com/delivery for details.
Family Leisure is having the world's biggest spa setting. It's happening right now. You can save thousands on in-stock hot tubs that are ready to be delivered. Family Leisure has spas that start at just $28.99. You know those cold plunges? You can get one for yourself starting at $39.99. Or how about swim spas? They start at $17,499. Plus, Family Leisure has set up special financing just for this event. Have you been sitting on the fence about an above-ground pool? Get off that fence and get to Family Leisure to take advantage of huge discounts on all their in-stock above-ground pools. And if you need some patio furniture, it's all priced to move out now. It's not too late to have some summer fun, courtesy of Family Leisure. But you better hurry up. The world's biggest spa set Ken Garland, you are in your 72nd year of business. Your son William is now joining you. What do you think is the key to your longevity in the building business?
My dad started the business in 1965, and I think being on the job sites daily and being accessible to homeowners has been a key to our success.
You guys have a work ethic, as you like to say. You're not hiring people to be on the site. You guys are there every day.
We interact with the subcontractors multiple times a day on each job site. I think that has been a key, as well as using the same subcontractors 20 plus years in most cases.
When you talk about materials, what is the first thing you're thinking about when somebody comes to you to build a home?
We're just trying to meet the expectations of the client and the homeowner and the architect and give them what their dream is.
When you get a Ken Garland home, what do you guarantee?
We'll be there after the job is finished. We're still accessible to all our clients.
Now I need to know, how do I get a hold of Ken Garland?
You can reach us at kengarland.com.
Now, back to Sportstime on Sports 56 and 95
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, Brett, I will start with our big numbers, and I will go with the number 9. Kind of a small
we're
number.
close.
Ooh, okay,
Real close.
Okay, well, my big number comes from the NFL, and it is the amount of times Davante Adams, newly acquired Jets receiver, was targeted last night in Sunday Night Football by his old friend Aaron Rodgers. 9 targets, but only 3 receptions for Davante Adams. He did have 30 yards with a long of 11, but really did not do much outside of that in the Jets' 37-15 loss last night. I thought it was a move that would make them better. I thought it was maybe a little bit of a desperate move to pick up to go out and trade for Davante Adams, but he didn't. At least Sunday, he did not help them
play
win
offensive
games.
line.
No, he doesn't. And you're right. That offensive line is really bad. They had an injury in that game, so they were down another offensive lineman late against the Steelers, and Steelers just ran away with it late.
And this Steelers team, I don't think is anything great, but it sits atop the division.
How about that? Out of nowhere, 5-2, and we just on the fly said, "Hey, Russ, you're going to be our starter this week."
I love Mike Tomlin when they asked him how he felt about the decision. He goes, "It's why I make what I make."
That's right. Yeah, and it worked out.
He's kind of done this time too. My big number is 10. That's the number of undefeated teams remaining in college football. Army, BYU, IU, Iowa State, Liberty, Miami, Navy, Oregon State, Penn State, and Pitt, with game day to Bloomington this week for Indiana versus Washington.
How about that?
That's a league game.
How about that? Yes, a Big Ten matchup. Whew.
Dayline Bloomington. You know what network that game is? So they're going to leave game day at 11 or so, and I wonder, because game day, really, their time allotment is going well over. It's going to about 6 after, which, come on, if you hadn't got everything in since 8 o'clock.
I agree.
Well, come on. And, boy, I'd have a fit with that, with the timing of that.
Oh, man.
And the network that's it's on, they start prompt at 11:01 on the Big Ten Network.
I thought that's what it was on, but I went pause. I mean, isn't that perfect? College game day at a Big Ten matchup between Washington and Indiana that's played on the Big Ten Network. That is fantastic.
Lee Corso had 3 college jobs. Louisville, very famously, in jousting with Coach Murphy in the old Missouri Valley, and then to Indiana, and then he finished at Northern Illinois and had USFL years. Yeah. So back to Bloomington for Lee Corso, and he was there Saturday.
Yeah, he was.
And I hope he can make it to Bloomington.
Yeah, I hope so, and that'll be fun. But hey, still wish they had gone to Nashville. That would have been fun.
I think it was real close.
Man,
I know it was real close.
I'll be honest, I didn't even think about it, but now that you bring it up, it makes a whole lot of sense, and I wish they would have done it.
If Vandy were to do the unthinkable, beat Texas in the same year.
Brett, I mean, here's the thing. Texas,
that's hard to even get out.
Texas wasn't at full strength against Georgia because all their focus wasn't on that week. They were looking ahead because they were terrified about this Vanderbilt matchup.
All right, they got Texas at home this week, then at Auburn, and then back at home against South Carolina.
Man. Okay. Hey, this 3-game win streak could be 5-1.
Why not go on that magic carpet ride?
I don't want to say 6-0, but good Lord.
It would be incredible, wouldn't it?
Sure would. It absolutely
I know
would.
incredible is the sale going on at All Star Chevrolet. Head down Highway 78 into Mississippi. Your first exit's Kraft Goodman Road, and you're there where the Chevy truck season sale is going on at Olive Branch at All Star Chevrolet. Financing as low as 0% now available on every new 24 Silverado. No payment till 2025. Your Silverado can be payment-free through Christmas and New Year's and into 2025. Your good credit deserves it, and you get it at Olive Branch, where all the new Chevy Silverados and Tahoes are. Incentives at All-Star on new Equinox can get your price down in the low 30s, maybe even the 20s. If you're law enforcement, recent grad, educator, military, healthcare worker, first responder, you get an instant $500 bonus back. Check out the huge, and I mean huge, All-Star pre-owned section with Toyotas, Nissans, Jeeps, Silverados, Ford SUVs. It looks like every pre-owned you can think of is right there on that lot in Olive Branch. If you got any vehicle you want to sell, bring it to All-Star, whether you bought it there or not, and you'll get the most money for it tomorrow morning. I promise. Together, let's drive to All-Star Chevrolet. Don't miss the final Chevy truck season sale going on now in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet. Go to allstarautogroup.com for more information.
Well, let's wrap up our second hour and get to a break. When we come back, Grizzlies regular season begins for them Wednesday night. DeMichael Cole from the Commercial Appeal, he's on the Grizzlies beat. He'll join us, talk about what he saw in preseason, what he expects to see as the regular season starts later this week. We're talking Grizzlies next on Sports Time.
Guns, and more guns. Over 700 firearms in stock. Home defense guns, old guns, new guns, used guns, big guns, little guns. Every gun you can think of, Classic Arms has them. All brands like Glock, Sig, Colt, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Browning, Beretta, Benelli, Remington, Winchester, and more. Guaranteed lowest prices in town. Only gun importer in the Mid-South. Free gun inspections and appraisals and free bore sighting for the upcoming deer season. Shop online at ClassicArmsOfMemphis.com or visit Classic Arms at 1740 Germantown Parkway behind Quirky's Barbecue in Cordova.
This is Lauren Choate, Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, Plumbing, and Generators. Right now, we're offering our Choate's Comfort and Safety Special. For a limited time, when you purchase a $99 tune-up, or if Choate's performs a repair, you'll receive a free 1-year standard fan plan membership at $400 value. Keep your home safe, comfortable, and running smoothly all year long with 2 maintenance visits, priority service, and discounts on future repairs. And for our existing loyal fan plan members, we have something special just for you. Enjoy a $1,000 loyalty coupon toward any new generator, tankless water heater, or HVAC system. It's our way of saying thank you for trusting us with your home. Add value, add comfort, and add safety to your home with Choates. Call us today at 347-8086 or visit ChoatesHVAC.com. Choates, let our family serve your family.
Hello, sports fans out there. Walker Taylor here with the Germantown and Collierville Commissary. We just celebrated our 43rd year in business, and I would like to thank our fantastic customers and especially our loyal staff. Time has flown by. We now have a second location, Poplar and Houston Levy in Collierville. Catering is a specialty of ours. 50 to 5,000, no job too small, no job too big. Full service or self-service. We also have a party room in Collierville that is great for rehearsal dinners, business meetings, you name it, we'd love to have you. Also, our barbecue party pack packs. Start at $8.75 a person. Barbecue, beans, slaw, bun sauce, including serving utensils. Especially great for tailgating with football season coming up. The commissary restaurants also believe in giving back to the community. Possibly you have been approached by somebody selling a barbecue 6-pack coupon for fundraising. Cheerleading groups, church groups, anything to help a worthy cause. Holidays are near. Smoked hams and smoked turkeys will be on the pit before you know it. Come see us at Germantown and Collierville Commissary. Also check us out at commissarybarbecue.com.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roofing. Did you know there are so many roofing companies in Memphis that I don't even know them all? So that begs the question, which one should you choose? So I thought I'd give you a little background about me. My grandfather was a World War II Marine. My father worked for the University of Memphis for nearly 30 years. My mother, a pianist at Raleigh Baptist Church. Seems like forever. I went to Brownsville Road, Craigmont, and Bartlett High School, class of 81. We support the local school systems, youth athletics, and believe in what St. Jude and Le Bonheur stand for. I'm a Tiger and Grizz fan. The point? Memphis is my home. Five-Ash Roofing will be around if you ever have a problem with the service we provide. Five-Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical, with deep local ties in our community. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
56, WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10.
Sports 56 traffic.
A couple of accidents out here. It's building right where you would expect in the Midtown area. 240 southbound at South Parkway down to Norris. Still holding up right now on 240 getting on to 385 Billmores Parkway. As you continue out towards Collierville, we expect that to get a little bit heavier out through there. Probably the next 20-30 minutes at least. Same thing happening over here at 40 East. That's still moving from Sycamore View Road all the way out to Germantown Parkway. Weimer's Jewelry serving the Memphis area for over 40 years, no matter what the occasion is. Go by and see them first, because you'll save a lot of money at Weimer's Jewelry on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Once again, are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Jenkins.
Say you stand by your man. Tell me something.
We're back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure studio as we start our third and final hour. And joining us now to talk some Grizzlies, DeMichael Cole, the Grizzlies beat writer over at the Commercial Appeal, joins us now. DeMichael, thanks so much for joining us. A lot to get into, a busy preseason, a lot of stuff going on. But I'm curious, what were your big takeaways from what you saw from this Grizzlies team throughout the preseason?
What's going on, guys?
How's it going?
Takeaways from this preseason. I think the number one thing that stood out to me was that some things are different. And it's one thing to say, every year you're going to hear certain teams say, oh, we're changing this, or players going to say, oh, I worked on this, or whatnot. But it's another thing to see it. Mm-hmm. So specifically with the offense, like last year, I think we heard there were going to be some changes with the offense. And I remember when I started watching, it was like, I don't see, anything that's drastically standing out to me as different. But this year, when the preseason started, you saw all the, the cuts within the offense and, multiple ball handlers, the pace that they're aiming to play at, everything they said they want to emphasize and do, they're actually doing it. So this is definitely a different offense. And I've said on multiple occasions, like, difference doesn't necessarily automatically mean like, oh, they're about to be, the top offense in the league right now. But what I would say is I do applaud the effort to note that, hey, we need to change some things because this isn't working, and they're taking the right steps. They're taking the steps to do that. So I think that's the number one thing that stood out to me overall. The backcourt is another thing. I'm very impressed with the Ja Morant and Desmond Bane dynamic, I think, goes to another level this year. I think Ja in this offense, if there's one player who's definitely suited for it, it's him. And if there's a second player who's definitely suited for it, it's Dez. A lot of people on the team talk about how those two guys play so fast, up-tempo. transition three-point opportunities are going to be there more for Desmond Bain. John Morant was talking about it earlier today, him doing more pull-up three-pointers and things like that because the coaches want him to do it. Des wants him to do it. So I think those are the two things that have stood out to me from a good standpoint. And then there are some takeaways that haven't been as promising as well. Even with the new offense, it's a lot of turnovers right now. So that's something that's got to be corrected at some point. They just have a high number of turnovers right now. And then just with some of the guys who, because of the injuries, who've had a chance to take advantage of these extra minutes, I just haven't seen enough. We heard a lot of talk, right? Jake LaRavia is going to step up this year, be the defender, the scoring potential and things like that. But I haven't seen much that convinced me that, oh yeah, this is the Jake LaRavia breakout, on the way, and not when I was coming off the bench, even to a lesser degree. Fonte's been good. Fonte's been, trust me, that last preseason game he was really good. But overall, no one's really just stood out to me as you can see. This is the player who's going to definitely take that jump.
DeMichael, you talked about the speed, and you also talked about the turnovers in the preseason, a little bit disturbing. One thing about the speed is I know some people are scared that it may, to be to the detriment of the defense. But I think anytime you have Marcus Smart on your team, you're not going to lose some of your core defensive principles.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And him, Jaren, even, guys are, part of the pace is the defense. Mm-hmm. They're trying to turn the defense into offense to be able to get them into that pace. So in order for them to play that pace, they can't be taking the ball out of the net. That is the number one thing that Taylor Jenkins has talked about. There was the one preseason game, a couple preseason games ago, where they weren't playing at the pace that Taylor Jenkins wanted, and he kept referencing the fact that the opponent wasn't missing enough shots. Like if I think it was if the team isn't missing shots, you're taking the ball out of the net, which is not allowing you to be able to get out in transition. So it starts with the defense. I think that's the understanding that the players have. That's the understanding that the coaches have been trying to communicate to them. So it's not even just Marcus. It's John Morant. You're seeing more of him picking up full court pressure this year. Like he calls the 8-second violation, in that game against the Heat. Desmond Bain, is trying to pick up his defense this year as well. So I think at the end of the day, the core of the Grizzlies will always be defense, under Taylor Jenkins, and the offense is just where they're trying to put a lot of attention on because clearly that's the area that needs to improve the most in order for this team to get to the next level.
DeMichael, come springtime, you'll get that email from the league for you to vote on all these awards that Bryant and I are going to do over the next 2 days, starting tomorrow when we pick the East and on Wednesday when we pick the West. You will get a ballot for MVP. You'll get a ballot for Rookie of the Year. You'll get a ballot for Comeback Player of the Year. You'll get a ballot for Defensive Player of the Year. You'll get a vote for Coach of the Year. Realistically, the Grizzlies have someone in line for every one of those spots. Would John Morant qualify for Comeback Player of the Year?
He's already won it. So I think the story isn't really there, and it's not like the NFL, where guys have injuries and they like DeMar Hamlin and other, like Comeback Player of the Year in the NFL. In the NBA, it's just simply the Most Improved award. So that's an award that Ja's already won. So, I mean, think about it. If Ja's the most improved player in the NBA this year, I mean, that's the MVP, right? That's the next step, I think, for him in that category. So I think he's kind of played his way out of that category.
Yeah. I'm curious your thoughts on the preseason for Zach Edey. It seemed like, especially early in the preseason, he would, get good positioning and they'd have kind of trouble getting the ball into him at times. But he had that one game, came off the bench, looked fantastic. What have you thought of the Grizzlies' big man through preseason?
He was good. He was good, and the most impressive thing to Zach Edey was the fact that you can tell that he's learning. Mm-hmm. And you go from the first preseason game where, to the last preseason game, the patience was a big difference. Yeah. The patience was night and day. times, and I mean against the Pacers, it really stood out where he was in the post and he would, have the ball, he would hold it above his head, and he would really pick and choose when he wanted to score. So I think that's the main thing that really stood out to me when you talk about what Zach Edey has done. The patience, like he himself has mentioned the word spacing a lot. Like he's talking about adjusting to the NBA spacing. Like the spacing is different. You're starting to see him. And these are little things. It's not even really being shown in the stat sheet that much. Like, if you look at the Pacers game, he makes, I think, like 10 or 15 on field goal attempts, and then he comes back in the Heat game, and he only makes 2 shots. But I still think the improvement was there overall. So I think the patience is what he's learning the most, just the offensively. I think some things are just going to naturally take time, for him to get used to. For example, like the pace that the Grizzlies are playing at, that's going to take time for him to get used to. And it's going to take time, not even just for him. Like, Ja Morant was tired after that last game. Remember, he only played 3 quarters, and I know Ja was tired. So it's not even just Zach Edey. A lot of the guys are going to have to get used to the pace. But those are things that stand out to me in terms of Zach Edey. I think he's been good. He's got so much more room to grow, and I think it's easy to see where it's defensively. We still haven't seen him like on the floor much with Jaren Jackson Jr. Like even in practice, him and Jaren have not done a lot together yet. So that's what these next couple days, where Jaren's going to get out there more in 5-on-5. That's what that's going to be for. But Zach Edey has been good enough. I'm not, I'm going to be, maybe a little bit later in the season, guys. I'll be at the top of the Zach Edey hype train, like a lot of other people. But right now, I say he's been good and he's progressing, at a very good speed. I mean, from the first preseason game to the 5th preseason game, in just that little amount of time, I saw some real noticeable differences. So you give him a couple months over the course of the NBA season, I think you're looking at pretty much a good, adequate starting center.
DeMichael Cole from the Commercial Appeal is our guest. He's on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line, and he's on the beat covering all things Memphis Grizzlies, interrupting his celebration of smoking cigars for Tennessee, pulling the off the win against Alabama on Saturday. Looking good Saturday, DeMichael.
You know I loved it. I loved it. And my thing about that game was, I knew it would come down to, like, I don't know if y'all are big over-under guys, but I saw over-unders with like 56, 55 and a half, and 56 and a half for this game, and I was like, am I missing something? Like, I've been watching both of these teams, especially Tennessee, This is going to be one of those games where it's going to be a little low scoring. But, I watched the game in Memphis, the alumni chapter here. A lot of people met up. We watched it at
looked
a restaurant.
Fun, too.
Oh, it was very fun. That place was oranged out. It felt like I was in Knoxville for a second, but good. I'm shout out to the Vols, man. They still got Georgia on the schedule that's how the Bama people are coping now. They keep reminding me that we got Georgia left on the schedule. So.
Bama's not coping very well, are they?
No, they're not.
Oh no, it's a bad breakup with them after losing Saban. Bad breakup.
The honeymoon is ended. DeMichael, a lot of predictions. I'm going to ask for some odd ones here. At the end of the year, I'm at Basketball Ref right now, and I think I live at one of the ref sites. And for every player, they have season, age, team, league, position, and then G for games. At the end of the year, for the Grizzlies to have that great bounce back year, how many games played for Jaren Jackson? How many games played for Zach Edey? How many games played for Ja Morant?
I'll start with Jaren. And Jaren is, over the last 3 years, he's played 60-plus games. And he's been pretty durable, which you remember earlier in Jaren's career, it was the opposite. People were saying, you can't stay healthy and things like that. He's proven to be really durable. Even right now that he misses probably a couple games in these first 2-3 games or whatever the case may be, he'll be fine. I think Jaren definitely, like, we've talked about this a little bit before about how in contract years and things like that, guys certainly they get these magical powers where they're playing through things and, because they're trying to cross out these thresholds to make more money. And this technically isn't a contract year for Jaren, but he would be eligible for a pretty good extension, after this season if he puts up a banner type year. So I think Jaren should be somewhere around 68 to 70 games. I think that's also going to be a good number, for Zach Edey. Everyone at Purdue that I talked to about Zach Edey, they always talk about his durability, not just in staying available over the course of a full season. Like, I think he only missed one game ever at Purdue, a whole 4 years, and we know he played a lot there. But it's not even just that. It's the fact that he stays on the floor. You remember the first preseason game? He had 5 fouls, and everyone was freaking out. Mm-hmm. Oh, no. I think he had 1 foul over the next 3 games. So he's going to be on the floor a lot. I think he's going to be durable. I think somewhere around 70 games is going to be a good number for him. John Morant, I'm going to say 65 on the button. 65 is that number where you can be eligible for All NBA, and I think Ja will be somewhere around there.
That would be his second most in his career. 67 his rookie season.
It would be. Probably surprises some people. Ja's definitely had those ankle injuries, the knee things, but he's talked a lot this year about and he talked about it some last year too. We just didn't get to see it play out because of that freak thing that happened with his shoulders. But he's talked a lot about changing the way that he attacks the rim from a landing perspective. Derrick Rose was here last year, so he kind of got that angle. But the Grizzlies are talking to him about it. He's listening, and you're going to see some differences there. I don't think Ja's going to go to the rim trying to dunk on everyone anymore. He's going to be more mindful. I could just lay this ball up. It's the same 2 points instead of trying to, jump over 7-foot Jakob Poeltl and, put myself in harm's way or whatever the case may be. So I think you're going to see more of that from Ja, and it'll lead to a little more durability. And I think basically if you get 65-plus out of those 3 guys, you'll be in a really good position.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned it a couple of minutes ago, DeMichael, but you reported earlier this afternoon that Jaren will be out for the first game against Utah. What can you share with us about him being out and this injury?
Yeah, so the words that have been said all throughout preseason with all these injuries is we're going to be cautious. We're going to be cautious. We're going to be cautious. And I started to get because things change. And what we were hearing, what we were being told leading up to, the report that you just mentioned was, Jaren's fine. He's going to, pretty much sit out the preseason, and he'll be ready for the season opener. Mm-hmm. And as the days went on, I think it was sometime last week we were at practice, and Jaren was, doing some 4-on-4 work, but he still wasn't up to 5-on-5. And I'm like, because, that's the 5-on-5 is a big step to get returned back to play with Grizzlies, especially hamstring injury. But there's we talked to Taylor Jenkins a couple of days ago. I think it was Friday, Saturday, whatever the case it may be. And Taylor basically said that Jaren was going to get 2 practices where he ramped up, and we're going to put him on the floor. And I'm like, 2 practices, a 5-on-5? I don't know. So I'm not surprised that because honestly, it felt a little rushed to me. So it's good to see that, the Grizzlies medical staff like, okay, look, it's 82-game season. Like, if he misses first game of the season, whatever it is, it's not that big of a deal. So he's going to be out the first game. I also noted that, it's just, first of all, I mean, Brett, when was the last time you could think of a team's season opener being the second leg of a back-to-back? Like, the NBA didn't do these guys no favors,
sure
right? And so when you factor that in, the thing that stands out to me is the fact that they have that back-to-back. Jaren Jackson is going to be coming off a hamstring injury. He's going to miss one of those games, too. So this not only means he's going to miss the season opener, he's not playing 2 legs of a back-to-back his first games of the season.
Nor should he.
So nor should he. Right, exactly. So you're going to have Jaren miss probably 2 of the first 3 games at least, but they're not expecting him to be out for any extended period. This is more conditioning than a sign that he's progressing slowly. Like I said, I saw him doing 4-on-4 last week. He looks good. We talked a lot about this pace that this team's playing at. We've also talked about him dealing with a hamstring injury. So they're saying, hey, look, we're going to go up here to Utah, Houston. He's going to continue to get this 5-on-5 work, conditioning, and he should be ready to go probably for the home opener somewhere around there.
DeMichael, for the Zach Kleiman management team, this is year 6 for them, and they have done a lot of really good things. But the previous management team, it went to the Western Conference Finals in its 6th year. If all things being equal, health's good, the Grizzlies are in the playoffs, how important is it for this management team to equal the last management team and go to a Western Conference Finals?
I think it's pretty important for it to happen overall. This season, I think you want to see the steps taken in that. If it happens this year, that'd be great. Like, they have championship goals right here. You know, Ja was talking earlier about the idea of bringing a parade to Memphis. You know, that's the goal. But I think because of the way, you know, the injuries set this team back. Like, that's just my outlook on it. Like, last year would have been the year where I said, oh, they make the second round of the playoffs last year. Now this season they are supposed to be primed for that Western Conference Finals at least run or even further. But there are so many questions. I have a story coming out in the morning. It's basically about, you know, how the Grizzlies are the NBA's biggest wild card. And I talked to people around the league, and the sense that I got is I talked to some people, they said, I got the Grizzlies top 4 in the West with me. And I talked to another person, they said, and they're in the back end of the play-in. Yeah. That is a wide gap. Not just because the West is so good, but because no one really knows how Desmond Bane, Marcus Smart, Ja Morant, and Jaren Jackson Jr. are going to play together. No one really knows, you know, how good a rookie Zach Edey and how impactful a rookie Zach Edey will be conducive to the winning for this team. So when you factor all these unknowns in, you got a rookie at center. We think Marcus Smart can work, you know, with this lineup. It worked in a small sample size last season, but that was a very small sample size. You know, other teams really didn't have the report card or anything, the scouting report on the Grizzlies. So my point is, it took the long route to get there, but the point that I was making is the fact that there are simply too many unknowns where I think this year could be the year where, don't get me wrong, you need to make at least the second round of the playoffs. I don't think another first round exit is the direction this team should be going into. But if you get to the playoffs, you say, hey, the Grizzlies are a 4 seed, they beat a 5 seed in the first round, and they take a 1 seed to 6 or 7 games, I would consider that a step forward for them based on the way that last year played out and the year before where they had the early first round exit. And then that would set the tone for next season being that year where, all right, we got to make it happen now.
Last thing for you, DeMichael, Scottie Pippen Jr. gets added to a standard contract, and then Yuki Kawamura gets a two-way spot. What did you think about the Grizzlies' decision for both of those, giving Scottie Pippen Jr. a standard contract and then giving Kawamura a two-way deal?
Yeah, those dudes earned it, man. Like, I don't think anything was handed to either one of them. Starting with Scottie Pippen Jr., I mean, this was a guy, he came here in January and was just placed on a two-way deal that wasn't even a, you know, full two-way. He was only able to play like 21 games.
Yeah.
So he gets here, and, I mean, he ran with that opportunity, right? Comes in, becomes starting point guard, arguably the most productive player left on the roster after, you know, G.G. Jackson and, Vince Williams got hurt. But, yeah, he was one of the most productive players, and then he goes to the Summer League, first team All-Summer League. Zach Kleiman said it at Media Day. He felt that Scottie Pippen Jr. was MVP, you know, of Summer League. But, you know, all the great things that he did in that small amount of time, and then he comes in the preseason. I don't think he's had a great preseason. Like, he's, you know, someone that I felt like, oh, he has a chance to kind of just put his foot in the ground and say, hey, I'm the backup point guard of the future here. I didn't get all the way there, but this is a guy I've been high on for a while. So I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving the station. I'm just saying there are some more steps that I need to see, more specifically to the turnovers. Like, he is a little turnover prone in the preseason, but the scoring is still there, the shooting, the defense was really good. Like, it's going to be different with the Grizzlies because, you know, Derrick Rose, love him. Love what Tyus Jones brought to the Grizzlies. But the Grizzlies ain't had a backup point guard that's going to come in the game and really just pester these teams the way that Scottie Pippen Jr. Can. Yeah. So that's going to be different. But Yuki Kalmora, same thing. I think the biggest factor to get him on the roster, because he's such a terrific playmaker, and I think everyone knows that now. And that was something we saw all the way back to the Olympics. Because I knew this guy had a real chance then. When we were at the Olympics, when we watched the Olympics, we watched Tokyo, and Japan played against France. France was the tallest team at the Olympics, and France had Yubusele, Rudy Gobert, Wemby, all these guys who are NBA giants, so to speak. And he was one of the best players on the floor. Mm-hmm. But even beyond his own production, I think where he's going to help Memphis, the organization, the Grizzlies, most is when he's down there in the G League, the Grizzlies will have access to having one of the best playmakers in the G League. And what's that going to do is that's going to help expedite, the progress of a Cam Spencer, because he's going to have a great passer down there, getting him easy scoring opportunities. That's going to help Jay Huff's progression. That's going to help, anyone, if Jalen Wells gets sit down to the G League for a couple games to work on something or rehab or whatever the case may be. Playing with Yuki Kalmora is going to be different for those guys. It's basically going to be real good training for who can really be impactful on this Grizzlies roster. Whereas a lot of teams, you don't have that caliber of efficient point guard play to really let you know what these guys can do at the NBA level.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a really, really good point. But, DeMichael, so excited for the season to start. Glad that you're back with us. Thanks for joining us, and we'll do it again next week.
Looking forward to it, guys. Take care.
Thanks, DeMichael. DeMichael Cole joining us from the Commercial Appeal to talk some Grizzlies basketball. And it is hard to believe that only 2 more days until a ball goes up in the air and another Grizzly season has begun. But before we get to a break, let me remind you about Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Jaguar Bluff City has been the premier Jaguar dealership for the greater Memphis area since 1984. Their talented team is ready to help you find your next perfect vehicle at unbeatable rates. Swing by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City today and check out the new 2025 models like the Range Rover Sport, the Range Rover Velar, or the Defender. Test drive the 2025 Range Rover Sport, where luxury meets performance. It's a perfect mix of style, performance, and versatility, with options ranging from 360 horsepower up to 635 horsepower. And it's also available as a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle with $7,500 federal tax credit when leased with approved credit. Also, take a look at the 2025 Range Rover Velar, powered by mild hybrid technology and enhanced with the latest well-being features and fully connected entertainment system. The 2025 Range Rover Velar is the ultimate luxury compact crossover. Purchase yours today and get special 4.4% for 72 months financing available with approved credit. And don't forget about the 2025 Defender, available in multiple models to fit your needs. The Defender is built for the modern explorer, and Jaguar Bluff City is offering special interest rates for 60 and 72 months on various models. Give them a call at 877-259-6169. That's 877-259-6169, or go online to JaguarBluffCity.com to view their entire collection. Well, let's go ahead and get to a break, and when we come back, we'll get to our Monday Night Football pick and preview. Also, best 4 players to ever wear the uniforms combined for the 4 teams playing tonight. Ravens at Bucks, Chargers at Cardinals. We'll get into all of that next on Sports Time.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
The best I-dos start with Sissy's Blue. Discover bridal jewelry worthy of your big day at Sissy's Log Cabin, along with our spectacular experience that comes with our promise of exceptional quality, service, and brilliant natural diamonds. Experience our expansive selection when you stop by any of our 6 locations or shop online at sissyslogcabin.com. Find your perfect engagement ring only at Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
See the picture
days are rocking at Gossett Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat on the pike. And I've got Rockin' Ronnie waiting to put you in a new ride.
Randy, listen to this. 2024 Dodge Durango SRT, $10,750 off MSRP. A 2024 Dodge Hornet RT, $8,500 off MSRP or 0% for 72 months. A 2023 Charger Scat Pack, $10,000 off MSRP. And 2024 Jeep Gladiator Sport, $10,439 off MSRP. What do you think about that, Randy?
I think you're rockin', Ronnie. So drive past the rest and come to the best at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the pike or shop online. GossettMotorCars.net.
RC 126,942, MSRP 90,035. Hornet R380-8452, MSRP 44,620. Charger PH 592,276, MSRP 60,985. Gladiator RL 106,204, MSRP 56,265. Includes all rebates and incentives and excludes PF 695. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Dealer stock only.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
We're definitely going to be late to the concert. I feel like we should be there by now.
I'm just taking a little detour. I gotta fill up my gas tank, and I know this place a couple towns over where the gas is cheaper.
Are you serious? We're going to be late for the concert because you're driving out of the way for cheaper gas? Just use Upside.
What's Upside?
Upside is the free cashback app that gets you real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait, I can get cash back just for buying the gas I need anyway?
Yes, I use it all the time, and I've made around $200. Now pull over so you can download the Upside app before we miss the concert.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code PHIL25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank, PayPal, or as a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code PHIL25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code PHIL25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus. That's code PHIL25.
Jenkins Floors and More invite you to their retail warehouse where they pass wholesale savings on to you. Jenkins Floors in Little Rock, Cleveland, Mississippi, and now open in Horn Lake at 2356 West Goodman Road. Specializing in flooring and carpeting, tile, plantation shutters, and blinds, Jenkins makes your life easy with a 2-week turnaround. Contractors, builders, or family projects, call 662-469-9350 for a free estimate. Owners Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins say hello to Sports 56 fans and look forward to your business.
I'm with John Burgos from the world-famous Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948.
Brett, we have catered parties all over this country and all over the world, from Singapore, Australia, to Central Park in New York. But many people don't realize how much we do locally. For holiday events, office parties, tailgating, birthday parties, you can't do better than the Rendezvous. For example, you can get a cheese and sausage tray for 15 to 300 people for $3.75 per person. You can even build your own nacho bar for $10.50 per person. All you need is a minimum of 15 people. In many cases, we can arrange delivery and full-service catering. We've even made it easy to get to-go items. You can just park at our front door in the alley, put on your flashes, and we'll get you going ASAP. For all your catering items and prices, go to hogsfly.com, click on menu, and drop down to catering.
Thank you, John. The Rendezvous, Mr. Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948 and celebrating its 75th year.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Looking at a crash on 40 westbound at Chambers Chapel. As a matter of fact, it's got it backed up all the way into Fayette County, trying to get into Shelby County on 40 westbound at Chambers Chapel on a collision. It looks like it just happened. Traffic's on the increase even more over here on 240 East up by Poplar. 40 East is cranking up pretty good now from Sycamore View Road all the way out to Germantown Parkway. At the Humane Society of Memphis, Shelby County, you can adopt a pet and change a life. For more information on the pets that are available for adoption, log on to their website at memphishumane.org. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Hello again, everyone. I'm Howard Cosell. Welcome aboard. ABC's Monday Night Football.
Monday Night Football is here, and a doubleheader tonight in the NFL. Ravens at Buccaneers. That will be on ESPN. We'll also have that broadcast right here on Sports 56 at 7 o'clock. And then a little bit later, Chargers and Cardinals, an ESPN Plus only exclusive ESPN Plus game tonight at 8 o'clock Central. So 2 games tonight. I think 2 interesting games, but certainly the Ravens and Bucks will get a lot more talk because of how those 2 teams played, and of course because it's going to be on regular television.
You want Heisman trophies? We got them tonight.
That's right.
3 in one game. Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson against Baker Mayfield, and Kyler Murray for the Arizona Cardinals.
How about that?
I can't think of any more.
No, I can't either, but those are some good ones.
Those are some good
That's
ones.
a lot.
The 7:15 for the Baltimore-Tampa Bay game, and then 8 o'clock on ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
I know you have all those things.
Oh, I do. I absolutely do, Brett. You know I do.
And you know who doesn't.
You.
It makes ditto. It's 2 of us.
Yeah.
I just don't have the Peacock. That's all.
There you go.
And I work for him. That's crazy.
Can't give you a code or something like that? Good
No,
Lord.
I've asked.
Backdoor code
Jeez.
that you can share with your friend?
Sincerely, I have asked. asked.
And then, nope. And they shut the door in your face. Get back to work. Just like
Jim
that.
Harbaugh on Monday Night Football. Care to guess his record when he was with the Niners?
I'd say it's pretty good.
6-0.
Wow. Is that right? Man.
Nobody had it better than us. Like, past tense.
I mean, put your
Man.
hat. Oh, yikes. Now, you.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Tough sledding.
The Battle of the Nobodies this Sunday night, right?
I don't like the way you say that, Darian.
Hey, I accept my feature.
I don't.
Darian, am I right about Brock Purdy?
I hope not. I hope not.
Needs his weapons back before we write him off, doesn't he?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
But tonight it will be Baker Mayfield against Lamar Jackson, and that's a 3.5-point spread for Baltimore. Suddenly, red hot Baltimore. Look at both of the AFC and NFC North. I said preseason, I thought that would be where the action, where it really was this year in the NFL, and it's been there. That I hope that would be a fun Super Bowl matchup, the two North.
Sure, no, that you're right. I think that would be a lot of fun, and you kind of look at how they're playing. I mean, you got Steelers and Ravens playing really, really well, and obviously what the Lions have done, that game on Sunday, a divisional game for them against the Vikings, was a thriller that came down to the last seconds when they tacked on a field goal to win that game over the Vikings. So yeah, I mean, great football being played in both those divisions.
Look at Brian and Darian both getting there last night with your shock pick being the Steelers and winning it straight up and getting 2 points. Connor was 3-2. Darian was 3-2, but got there. Connor also got there straight up with Seattle. Brian, you were 2-3, but got there straight up. I was 2-3, and missed on lock and shot. Don't ever let me take the Titans again. 10-zip and then nothing.
Oh man, but I thought I bet on the Titans yesterday. I mean, I thought
real American money.
Real American money. I mean, 9
hard earned,
points
work hard for money.
an NFL team. Yes, I mean, I just thought they were switching it up with quarterbacks. I thought Mason Rudolph, he's just kind of a field general. Get him down the field, and no, I was wrong. I was wrong.
You were wrong. But tonight, Connor takes Tampa Bay plus the 3.5. Give me Baltimore, Bryant.
I'm also taking Tampa Bay.
What? How dare you?
Yeah,
what? Okay, after starting 0-2, the Ravens are on a heater.
Yeah,
and you do not bet against him when he plays against NFC teams. Have you not learned? Give me the 2-time Super Bowl champion, Britt.
All right.
The Fighting Ravens.
Whatever Darian says with his picks. Baseball,
oh, thank you.
college, pro.
Just keep John going away from me, and I'm okay.
Well,
Second game on the plus machine. Chargers minus 1.5 at Arizona. Connor takes the Chargers. Darian.
I am okay. I'll go Chargers.
Okay.
That gives me the Chargers. I'm going with Darian the rest of the year. Whatever he says.
Let's rock and roll.
I'll take the Chargers too. Why not?
Group
now we said, hey, what happened last time we did that? Saints.
You know what happened yesterday when we did it?
True.
Green Bay laying 2.5 wins by 2. You know what that means?
It means we lost.
L.
Yeah, that's on me. I should have taken the Cardinals.
1 and 2 NFL group locks this year. We had none from college. Now the fun part of this segment, the Big Four, and it's the Big Four. It could be 4 Arizona Cardinals. It could be Larry Fitzgerald, Roger Worley, Dan Dierdorf, and Jim Hart. Anybody have that?
I do not.
Nope, pretty close though.
Oh.
It is?
No, you called Larry on me. That's all.
It could be all Chargers. It could be Fouts. Johnny Unitas played for the Chargers.
Wow.
You could have Johnny Unitas in there. Lance Allworth. LT, anybody?
No.
Getting warm.
All right, I'll go first.
Okay.
Here's my Big Four. My first 3 I have in my top 10 of NFL players all time, including my number 1, Tom Brady.
Absolutely.
Tom Brady.
Yep. I don't need any explanation, Brad. I mean,
number 2, he only played, I think, 16 games. I think I looked this up. I think 16 games total.
Okay.
I don't care if he walked in and just put on a wristband and ran out there one game. He was that great. Deion Sanders.
I forgot about Deion. That's
with
a good
the Ravens.
One. Yeah, that's a good one.
Number 3, with all the defensive players they've had through the years, he's the best that was there for any amount of time. Ed Taylor.
Okay.
And number 4, if I'd had a top 11 NFL players of all time, I think he would have been number 11, Ray Lewis.
Okay. All right. I like your list a lot, Brad.
Brady, Deion, Ed Taylor, Ray Lewis. Brian.
I love that list. Okay, my list, I have 2 OLIs that I have to shout out before I get to my actual list. Kurt Warner gets a OLI for me. Love Kurt Warner, that story. I mean, you put it all together.
Jonathan Ogden could be OLI.
It certainly could. My second OLI, Larry Fitzgerald. Another just dominant receiver. Got to put him at OLI. All right, my top 4 now. Number 4, LaDainian Tomlinson. I mean, one of my favorite running backs to watch growing up. Maybe one of my favorite players to watch growing up. I got to put him at number 4. Number 3, Warren Sapp, one of the all-time greats.
Hall of Fame.
Got to put him up there. Number 2, Ray Lewis, one of the same players we had on both of our lists, Brett. I love Ray Lewis, an all-time great defensive player. Maybe for this generation, this era, maybe the face of defensive football players, Ray Lewis, I think, is certainly up there. And then number 1 for me, how could it not be Tom Brady? If Tom Brady wears your uniform just in a picture. I think if we did this and the Raiders were involved, I would say Tom Brady in the top 4 now that he's part of the ownership
And he
group.
won a Super Bowl.
Exactly. I mean, Tom Brady 100% has to be number 1 for me.
Okay, you changed me up with it. So, okay, I'm going to start there. Number 4 for me will be Tom Brady. This is the list of MVPs. I actually changed my criteria on the fly. So number 3 will be.
So you went full SEC officiating and changed
absolutely,
on the fly.
absolutely.
So we're throwing refuge at you.
Yes.
Number 3 will be MVP LaDainian Tomlinson.
That was a tough one to leave out.
Yes, it was.
So good.
Number 2 will be the 3-time MVP. I'm glad you gave me the Baltimore Colts because I was just thinking straight Ravens. Johnny Unitas. He will be number 2. And number 1, the 2-time MVP and reigning MVP right now, Lamar
How about that?
Jackson.
Whoa.
Lamar Jackson.
So I had an
on your
MVP
list. How about that? Okay.
All
so
MVPs.
you obviously did not have any postseason success list.
No.
Because Lamar's on it.
Yeah, I left that for the Warren Sapps and the Simeon Rices of the world.
Johnny, you finished with the Chargers.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good one.
10 Pro Bowls, 3 MVPs, 5 first-team All-Pros.
Wow. Good list.
Real good
I think all
list.
3 of ours were good lists. That was fun.
There was some great Cardinals.
Oh, yeah.
Kurt Warner.
Yeah. I had to give him an LI, bro.
Simeon Rice again before he got to Tampa Bay.
Edgerrin James.
Yeah, it's
Edge
another good
was.
one.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Roger Worley was a good defensive back. Dan Dierdorf, one of the great offensive linemen ever.
And Quan Bolden.
Oh, that's a good one.
Jackie Smith at tight end. That do anything for y'all?
Yeah, man. No, a little before me.
I'm blanking on my soldier's name. Brett Pat.
Pat Tillman.
Pat Tillman. Yes, Pat Tillman for the Cardinals. Yes.
Right. Yeah. No, this was a tough list to do. I mean, going through all of these names and trying to figure out who for your all time. I mean, that's hard. That's
Tennessee running back Jamal Lewis.
That's another one. That's a good one. Man, this was tough. This was a tough list.
Didn't Aaron McNair didn't he finish up with the Ravens?
He was with the Ravens. Yes, sir. You are correct.
He sure was. That's right. I mean, that's the thing is
I couldn't leave Dion off. He's just that transcendent.
I completely didn't. I didn't even think about Dion. I didn't even think of him.
Didn't think of him. I forgot about him.
I'm trying to find his games played. I looked it up last night. Now I can't remember.
So I guess the OILs you were giving out?
OLIs.
Outside
looking in.
Oh, outside looking in. I had one, and he got knocked off the list. He changed the trajectory for the Commanders. Haloti Ngata. He was actually on my list.
I'm sorry, 25 games. Wow. 9 in 2004, 16 in 2005 for Deion Sanders.
Wow.
25
More
games.
than I thought.
I believe he played with McNair too. I think those were McNair's teams, right?
Well, that's 2 winners, isn't it?
Sounds like he would line up correctly.
2 tough
that's
guys,
for sure.
too.
Yeah, no, 2 really tough guys. Well, it should be 2 fun games tonight. Obviously, the one on ESPN, Ravens and Buccaneers, and then about an hour after that one starts, Chargers at Cardinals. But as always, you can hear Ravens at Buccaneers right here on Sports 56 at 7 o'clock. A little short pregame once Rebel Yell is concluded. But that'll do it for our Monday Night Football pick and preview. Let's get to our final break of the day. When we come back, we'll wrap up today's show with Crunch Time.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to real sports talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Traffic brought to you by 901 Eats to Go, 3135 Kirby Whitten Road in Bartlett. Pickup, DoorDash, Uber Eats, or online at 901eats.com. Eats with a Z. Good food fast.
It's here. Genesis Diamond's largest ever sale on luxury pre-owned Rolex watches. It's our castle tonight. If you've ever dreamed of wearing a Rolex, you can't miss this special 2-day event this Friday and Saturday. During this event, you can take advantage of special pricing and 0 interest financing on a stunning selection of luxurious pre-owned Rolex timepieces. We've got Rolex, Colts, Submariners, Daytonas, Pepsis, the hottest model Rolex watches that you can't find anywhere else. All of our luxury pre-owned Rolexes are in pristine, light new condition, some just out of the box, and all priced to sell at this event. Listen to this: with the purchase of any luxury pre-owned Rolex at this event, Genesis will give you a pair of 2-carat lab-grown diamond stud earrings for free. That's a $3,000 value. And listen up, Rolex owners, our pre-owned Rolex buyers are on site offering
this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. I have been told that my ads are all business and I should share some of my personality. Okay, I love tongue twisters, like the one about the terrific tasting toast by Taste Tester Toaster, or Big Black Bugs, Bleed Blue Blood, and of course Sally and her seashells. Or of course the ever-present I'm a Mother Pheasant Plucker, I plug Mother Pheasants. Okay, enough of that. If you want an honest, fair, reasonable roofing, siding, or gutter estimate, call Fiveash Roofing at 367-0050. That's exactly what you'll get. No empty promises, no high-pressure sales tactics, and no fast-talking salesman trying to convince you that today and only today is the best day for you to get a new roof. For the record, the best day to get a new roof is when you're ready for one. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing is what we do. We're here for you.
Hi, this is Dave Willotion. Tune into my show Wednesday, October the 23rd. We're going to do something a little different. We're going to donate most of the show to talk about Alzheimer's. The annual Walk to End Alzheimer's is coming up Saturday, October the 26th at Shelby Farms, and we're going to try to raise a little extra money for the cause. We'll be selling a Penny Hardaway autographed basketball, a Ryan Silverfield autographed football, tickets to the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, and many other great items. Please tune in and help us raise money for Alzheimer's Wednesday, October 23rd. Thank you. Admit it. When you start thinking about tastes of Memphis, you think treats, sweets. You think Dinstall's. For 122 years now. What is that, 5 generations? When people wanted something to bring to a party that will just make everybody happy, they bring out Dinstall's. 122 years of Cashew Crunch, of Heavenly Hash, of Turtlettes, of their award-winning fudge. That's worldwide. It's known that well. Then there's the milk chocolate. It all starts there. There's the double-dip peanuts. And then every fall, those famous chocolate-covered strawberries with that fondant. And they won't tell you what's in the fondant, but it makes it oh so special. And easy to get to. 5 locations. There's where they make the candies in Pleasant View. There's Germantown. There's Collierville. There's even one downtown. And in my neck of the woods in Laurelwood. You know what? 122 years made in Memphis and enjoyed by the whole world. Dinstall's.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Back to Sportstime on Sports 56 and 95 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Plus. Once
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started, so.
Spanning the globe.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This is for all the biggest crunch time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
Well, Brett, what I learned today is Tua will be back practicing this week as he eyes a return back to the football field this week. He met with the media earlier today to talk about what this process has been like, what he's gone through, his decision to come back this season and play. And here are some of the quotes that he said today. Tua Tagovailoa on the type of risk he's taking by playing again. Quote, every time we all suit up, we're all taking a risk, whether it's a concussion, a broken bone. There's risks in any and everything, and I'm willing to play the odds. That's it. He was also
okay. Then sign here. You can't sue at 50,
and that would be probably something that should happen.
He's doing it without the Guardian cap.
And that's what I was just going to, is that he was asked about the Guardian cap, which a lot of players, I mean, a good amount of players are wearing them, and especially guys coming back from, I've seen several guys coming back from either concussions or injuries that are saying, yeah, maybe I should wear one of these Guardian caps. But he said he's not wearing one and called it a personal choice not to do it.
if he gets splattered,
oh man,
I don't want to hear the end of football because he just said they make the choice.
Mm-hmm.
That means he's choosing to play. Nobody's making him.
A personal choice, yep.
And with personal choices go sometimes, terrible consequences. What I learned today, Bama's undisciplined on the field and on the sideline. It's unrecognizable on the sideline from the Nick Saban years. Whole lot of talking, some really bad looks on the sideline, and players arguing with coaches after they get penalties, and a lot of penalties. It looks exactly how it looks when the substitute teacher steps in.
Yes, it absolutely does. That's a good comparison, one that I've not thought about, but that's really good by you, Brett. What I could have done without, Darian, cover your ears to this one.
Already have, buddy.
Oh, man. So it came out about an hour or so ago that Brandon Ayuk has suffered a torn ACL on his right knee. He left the game. It looked bad when it happened, and it's going to require season-ending surgery. So he is out. Earlier this afternoon, Kyle Shanahan told reporters that he would be, quote, surprised if Christian McCaffrey was able to play this weekend against the Cowboys. And most recently, Deebo Samuel has been hospitalized due to pneumonia and fluid in his lungs. So 49ers quite literally cannot catch a break when it comes to guys being out, and a big one this weekend against the Dallas Cowboys.
That's rough stuff.
That's
Darren.
very rough.
That is.
I'm going Jerry Jones on you. I don't want to hear that right now.
Who are you guys? I'll have somebody in here replacing y'all tomorrow. That's what you ought to go do.
What a bad impression, Darren.
Real good, Darren. I could have done without the SEC officials on the fly. Just change the rules for the new bright, shiny toy Texas Saturday night. I'll go back to it again, and I mean it. In 2 months, they've been treated better than Arkansas and South Carolina in 33 years, and Ole Miss and Mississippi State in 80.
Crazy. Yeah, but you're right. It's the shiny new toy. Everybody wants them to be happy, and they're going to make the conference fun.
Joy, vibes.
Yeah, the vibes. Yes, the vibes are at an all-time high with those two in the conference. But, man, yeah, that was not great. Where are you beaming tonight?
Ravens at Buccaneers, battle of Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks, Lamar versus Baker. Ravens lead 5-2 all-time. They first met in 2001, last met in 2022. Two-time NFL MVP Lamar Jackson against number 1 overall pick Baker Mayfield in 2018. And that third Heisman winner with 704 yards rushing and 8 touchdowns this year.
Crazy.
Derrick Henry.
Yeah, the king, Derrick Henry. Beam me to the I'll beam to the other game. Chargers at Cardinals. We'll see what happens in this one. Chargers 3-2 this year. They've looked good. On the other side, Cardinals 2-4 on the season. It's been rough. They've lost 3 of their last 4, but that one win on the road against the 49ers, so maybe at home tonight against the Chargers, they can make something happen.
These teams first met in 1971 with Jim Hart at quarterback for the Big Red and John Hadle at quarterback for the Chargers. Tonight it'll be Kyler Murray versus Justin Herbert. Last week, 38 passes, 37 rushes for the Chargers. Wow. That's what Harbaugh wants. He wants that balance. They have the 3rd highest run rate in the NFL, and I mentioned earlier, Harbaugh 6-0 all-time on Monday Night Football.
It's a great record. I'm glad I heard that, because now maybe I will
bet
the Chargers tonight against the Arizona Cardinals. So we'll see. But no, it will be fun to have 2 Monday Night Football games tonight. A reminder, that second game, Chargers and Cardinals, ESPN Plus only game. But that first game, Ravens-Buccaneers, it'll be on ESPN. We'll also have coverage of that right here on Sports 56. But that's all the time we have. Enjoy your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon.
Rick's Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
You've heard of James Gaddis Jewelers, but have you heard what they've done?